Hey everyone, welcome to the Week 7 RotoWire Start Sit Show. A couple minutes before we start, so we got a minute to talk about halftime. Rams 21, Jaguars 0. Jaguars said, look, they have no identity on offense. They don't, I know it's a passing league. They don't get the running game going. They're always in obvious passing situations. They put themselves behind the sticks. Parker Washington is being used way too much, tied with targets with Brian Thomas. I just don't figure out their identity. They basically abandoned Travis Etienne after the first few weeks. Brian Thomas Jr. involved to a degree, 3 for 31. Great. He'll get you that double-digit PPR point again, probably. So there's that. But the Ram side, just taking care of business. It came out smart. Nakua out, went with multiple tight ends. We knew that would be the case. Actually, I knew that'd be the case. And so that worked out really well for them. I think I need my glasses today. So anyway, it was just very surgical. Kyron Williams could have had a short touchdown, got stuffed at the goal line, and that got Devontae Adams his second touchdown of the game, 4 for 34 and 2 touchdowns. Higbee had 3 early catches, but otherwise, Matthew Stafford, not big yardage, but getting it down to fantasy with 3 touchdown tosses. Second half, don't know what to expect, but it does not look good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Somebody had asked me a week or two ago. I had said, well, the Colts, they're going to win the division. They're like, what about the Jaguars? I can't trust them. There's no consistency from that team. Wish there was, but there's not. All right, let's get to the start sit show here. We'll get inactive as a go. James Koh will come in about an hour or so. And all right, I know I got a super chat here to start. Thomas asks us, Dobbins or Swift? Swift was great last week. His problem is he has no vision when he has to run between the tackles. If it's blocked, he gets it. If he has to read something, he doesn't. The Bears' game plan was great last week. Washington was great against the interior run. So they just got him some tosses to the outside, some schemed outside runs. Didn't need his vision, but it was a great mismatch for him. J.K. Dobbins has been a floor play. Last week was ugly, but he normally gets a chance to score a touchdown, normally gets a chance to pile up 70-ish yards, and I don't see why that's not going to be the case against the Giants. Giants have a good pass rush. They're not a good run defense. Point spread says is I believe that Denver's in a good spot here, which means Dobbins should be able to run the ball. I think Dobbins is way safer here. Swift's a live play here. I have them 18-19 in my rankings, but I got Dobbins with the upside moniker. And then you got Dobbs or Addison. Dobbs doesn't have a bad matchup. They're playing Arizona. They play a lot of zone, and Jordan Love plays really well against zone. That kind of bodes well. We don't know Josh Jacobs' status, and that would mean a lot because Jacobs himself said he thinks he's going to be able to go. That was per the NFL Network guys. But whatever that's going to mean, right? Because Addison kicks off early. Addison's been great since he come back, whether in some ways make a big play, and those secondary corners of the Eagles are not good. I think Addison would be your upside guy. He'd be your upside guy. I think Dobbs probably has probably about a 10-point PPR, half PPR, about 8-point PPR floor. So I think Dobbs is safer. Addison could be volatile in this one. So I would say Addison's your upside guy. Dobbs is your floor guy. If that's my lineup, I'm probably going to start Dobbs in that one. I love Addison, though. Love Addison. All right, let's get to the general flow of questions here. And live. All right, there we go. Perfect. All right, let's see what we got. Morning, Jeff. You need got to click you on. Need 2 flex spots PPR out of these. Chris Moore, Michael Carter, Tyjae Spears, Zach Ertz, Cooper Kupp, Kayshon Boutte, and Alec Pierce, and you need 2 PPR. Obviously, these are all very similar options. The thing with Boutte is we just don't know anything at targets. I was talking about him in April, saying he's a breakout player, and then they draft Kyle Williams, and then he gets on the field, has a great week 1 target in week 2, catches a touchdown. Quiet, and then last week he erupts again. If they throw him the ball, he's great. I just have no confidence they're going to do that, which stinks because if they did get him the ball, this kid would be a wide receiver 3 every week. So he's the riskiest one, but has real upside here. Chris Moore's in a great matchup. They used him. There's the top 2 receivers are out, but I think Ertz is your play from Washington. Dallas plays a lot of zone. Ertz underneath with no Debo. Those targets are going to Ertz. So I think Ertz is probably a really strong play here. And it's going to be between probably Alec Pierce and Michael Carter. If you think the Packers are going to play with a big lead, Carter will catch a bunch of passes and cash for you. Otherwise, Alec Pierce, Doolin's out, Downs is out. Pierce is regularly used, and they use him not just on deep shots but crossers. So I'd probably go with Ertz and Pierce. But if you think that the Packers are going to win big, Michael Carter's in play there. All right, Kavan, Ted McMillan, Sutton. McMillan probably sees a lot of Sauce Gardner and his quarterback Bryce Young. That's not going to be helpful. Whereas Cortland Sutton has a phenomenal matchup this week. I moved Sutton way up my rankings. I'm at wide receiver 11. The Giants are not a good pass defense. So I love Cortland Sutton there. Brian, good morning. Half PPR, Swift or Mason? Much closer here. See, the thing with Philly is week 1 they played Dallas, no Jalen Carter. Last week we saw him. Jalen Carter didn't play. And when he's not on the field, it's a completely different team. This isn't a great matchup with as long as Carter is playing, which he is. It's not a great matchup for Mason. But Mason's going to get some work here. I think in that scenario, and the thing with Swift's problem is New Orleans tackles real well. So they don't give a lot of yards after contact of running backs. So that's a little bit of a question there. I think, though, Mason is more likely to score a touchdown than Swift, but Swift is more likely to catch 4 passes in your half PPR. So I think Swift has a higher floor, but I think Mason has touchdown upside. So that's your decision. I basically, if you want the floor, play Swift. But if you need to swing for some upside, Mason always has touchdown or 2 touchdown upside. And I got a super chat here. Fabian, PPR, need to start 3. Sutton, QJ, Bourne, Addison, Coker. Can wait on Ibuka and swap Woody Marks if he's out. They're really saying Ibuka has a real shot to go. Detroit is down their top 2 corners, and they're down 3 of their top 4 corners, and they're down 2 safeties. That makes it worth waiting and switching in Woody Marks. I would do that because this could not be better with the secondary injuries. And Detroit's lights out against the run. So Baker's going to have to throw it. So that's worth the wait. Your second one would be Sutton. Now, you heard me talk about Sutton a minute ago. Sutton is a great play this week. Love New York's matchup. The Giants will cover receivers well. For the third one, this is all really close. Quentin Johnston, he's coming back from the injury, but they're down again, tackles. So the downfield element could dry up there. Bourne, there's going to be a lot of blitzing here from Atlanta, and that makes me a little bit worrisome when Mac Jones not great against the blitz. I would probably go Addison from the rest of this group. I'd make Addison my third choice here. Coker, I do like coming back. But again, I think first game back, we might want to wait on that one to see how things are shaking out. You get the luxury because you got good players to roster in here. All right, let's see what we got going here. Ethan, good morning to you. Harrison, Montgomery, or Kamara, PPR. So last week, Brissett looked great, but remember, he's a statue in the pocket, and Green Bay is going to bring some pressure. So I do have real concerns about Brissett this week. Loved Brissett last week. People asked to start him, a couple did. He's in a good spot, but he's not in a good spot this week, which bothers me for Harrison. I think Kamara's your play here. Kamara's not getting as much touches as we'd like, but the Bears defense, although they did play well in the rain slop game in Washington last week, this is a good matchup for Kamara. The game should, in theory, be close. Montgomery has a really bad matchup, and he's had bad performance in those bad matchups because that interior line has had some issues. Mayer, Travion, Knight, Mooney, or Marks. We don't really know if Mike Evans is likely to play, and Ben this per Schefter. And they're going back to Ibuka being, let me just double check this, more at the game time decision. Just double check what Schefter says here. Ibuka has a real chance to play. Low grade hamstring strain. So per Schefter, if you have a pivot, like our last question did, if you have a pivot for Ibuka, I would count on him in the lineup. And then if you have a pivot and he's inactive, you can go that way because his matchup's good. All right, so back to this question here. So Mayer is in a good spot, 12.5 point underdogs. They're probably going to have to throw some. We still don't know Jacoby Meyer's status. He's a game time decision, but I don't know that it matters. Mayer is going to have some garbage time look, and I love him in this one. And is that the only one? I think he's the one. I think he's the one. Mooney's questionable, so we're not sure what we got from him yet. So that's the way to go. Chris, all right, half PPR. You need a running back, tight end, and a flex. Rashad White, Dobbins, McMillan, Kittle, and Ferguson. So Ferguson has been great. CeeDee Lamb's back. That probably puts a little squeeze on targets. Kittle's back, and you can't. I don't think we can sit Kittle. Kittle is going to be, especially with all the receiver injuries, I think Kittle is going to be a big factor. I don't think we can sit Kittle. because Ferguson might see a dip in targets now. And then for your running back and flex, um, Rashad White from a running game has a bad matchup, but you know he's going to catch 5 passes. And you almost, I mean, you know for 100%, but he's probably catching 5 passes here, and that gives him a lot of value. And of course, they get in the red zone, he has a chance to score. Dobbins, I think, is a great play this week. McMillan, I just worry about Sauce Gardner, and then Bryce Young is the quarterback. That worries me. So I think White would be safer here, but McMillan's had a floor in every game. So if your gut says McMillan, and even though the matchup is bad, and I don't know the Sauce Gardner shadowing him, I mean, I would if I was coaching, but I'm not their coach, and I don't know if they'll do that. So if they don't shadow him, then McMillan will probably be fine, but we don't know. So if your gut says McMillan, I get it, but I'm pretty bankable on White and Dobbins for volume. You have Rashee Rice. Do you play Xavier Worthy or sit him for Marvin Harrison or Wan'Dale Robinson? Normally, I love Wan'Dale Robinson, but all 3 of the corner matchups for Denver are tough, and they play man 3rd highest rate in the league, and that's not good. This is for everybody. If you're thinking about Jackson Dart, or you're thinking about these Giants guys, I was watching that game when against the Eagles, and first of all, Quinyon Mitchell left the game real early with a hamstring. Jalen Carter was up, but here's what I said. I said that, this is easy how to defend Jackson Dart. You play man and you put up extra bodies to stuff the run lane so he can't break and contain. It's super easy. Well, Denver doesn't have to game plan that. That is how they play defense. They play 3rd highest rated man. They have extra bodies. They also get Dre Greenlaw back today. So this is probably the week to avoid those New York Giant guys. I would say if you have Scadaboo, you go with him. I mean, Scadaboo will catch 5 passes probably. So anyway, the Harrison thing again. Do Harrison and Worthy, I mean, does Worthy still get enough work? I think so. I think the Chiefs they're rolling on offense. I think they can go over 30 points here. They really, really look good. So Harrison's close. And if your guts is Harrison, I get it. But I am worried about Brissett this week because he's a statue. So I am worried about that. So that's my point on that. So I would probably just go with Xavier Worthy here, but Harrison's close. And I probably got Harrison ranked higher. Let's see. Harrison 60 now, Worthy 13. So I got Worthy a little ahead of him. I think I got another super chat here. John, Booty Charbonnet or wait for Emmanuel Wilson. Per NFL Network, they said that Josh Jacobs said he thinks he'll be able to go. So I don't know what to do with that. But to me, that sounds close enough. Like I wouldn't wait for him. And between Booty and Charbonnet, Charbonnet's a Monday night game. So you wouldn't be waiting for him, for Charbonnet at least. But you got to make the decision early. Charbonnet, the interior run for Houston, has a tough matchup. The outside run, Kenneth Walker actually looks decent this week because you can run outside against them. Inside's tough. I would probably go with Booty here. I don't know if he's going to get targets. We don't know. But even if he gets 4 targets, there's nothing scary about this Tennessee matchup. So I would go with Booty here. The Emmanuel Wilson one is tough. You got to make your decision for the early game. So that's the way I would look at that one. All right, see where we're at here now. And what did I answer here? All right. Rahendra's next. Good morning to you. Full PPR. Daniel Jones or Jordan Love. This one's close. I have Jordan Love at 9. I have Daniel Jones at 12. Yeah, Daniel Jones is your other one. Yeah. Arizona plays a lot of zone and like lower toward the league top. Every team plays zone a lot. So you just understand that. I think they're like 4th top of my head. And that's where Jordan Love is really good. Jordan Love does great. The more zone he sees, the better he is. And so I would tend to go with my higher ranked quarterback here for that reason. I think he's going to hold up pretty well there. And then you got another one in there. Addison, Henderson, Mayer, or Pacheco. I said 3 weeks ago to hold Pacheco. He started to look explosive, and all of a sudden his snaps went up right after that. 60% something last week, 72 weeks ago, 77% last week. So he is really jumping in there. But he loses the goal line touches, and he's not getting a lot of targets. So I would think for this flexor, I think Mayer has the safest floor because they're probably going to trail by a bunch, and they're going to need him. I think that's the way I would go with that. And because you're in full PPR, if you're in half PPR, I'd give you Pacheco. Pacheco's close though, but because he's not getting those goal line looks, that's why I kind of worry about that. Mason Taylor or Otten. Because it looks like there's a good chance that Buka will play. It looks like Mike Evans will play. Now we're out on Otten. Last year, remember, Otten had those 3 big games when there was no Godwin and no Evans. When they had nobody else, Otten feasted. But when everybody else is there, he didn't feast. So Mason Taylor was terrible, 1 for 2 last week. But Caroline is awful against tight ends. And remember, Garrett Wilson was seeing was it 35% targets? And he's not playing today. So Mason Taylor should get you 5 or 6 catches, and that lends me to go that way. Damon is next. Happy football Sunday. JMO or Jordan Addison. So play action works really well against Tampa Bay. It's just a matter of their blitzes get Jared Goff uncomfortable. And if that happens, so that Williams is, as I always say, he is a true boomer bust in this game, because with the blitzes that are used, I could see him making a big play or two. So if you need big upside, this is a week where you can say there's a real chance of it. It's not just like any week you say, oh, sure, it's JMO upside. It's actually there. Addison, I think, has a safer floor. And because Addison is going to be worked in, that second cornerback spot is a problem for Philly. And they will move Quinion Mitchell around. If they do, guess who that means? That means he'll be on Justin Jefferson, not Addison. So I mean, on Jefferson. So I like Addison here a little bit. But if you want that boom ceiling, JMO's your guy. Half PPR. Worthy or Bourne. All right. Again, the blitz worries me for Mac Jones. Last week he saw some blitz and he finally went no touchdowns in that game through the air. I believe that sounds right, but he wasn't the same guy, and he's going to see a lot of blitz. Atlanta's been throwing a lot of funky looks, so I'm going to go with Worthy, not overthink this one. I know Bourne has a couple massive games back to back. Superflex, Brissett or Mac Jones. Oh man, they're both in bad spots here. Jones is going to see a lot of blitz, and Brissett is going to see a pass rush because he's a statue in the pocket. All that said, I might go with Mac Jones because I trust Shanahan's offense to have a couple of answers. I do think there's going to be a rough one for Brissett. Love Brissett, man. I love him. I just for what he is. I love him for what he is. But yeah, not in this game, I don't think. Might have a super chat here. Scott, JMO, Bourne, or Luke McCaffrey, you need one. McCaffrey's interesting, right? I mean, they're down 2 receivers. They're playing Dallas. Dallas doesn't get much pass rush. And so McCaffrey could see maybe a better floor than JMO in this one. They both have real upside. They both have big play upside. The only thing this is a sneaky thing about that Dallas game. We all expect a ton of points. But we've got to think about there's an alternate reality where Dallas runs. They can run the ball well. If they get the ball rolling on the ground, and I know Commanders are decent against the run, and if Krosky Merritt gets going on the ground, I wonder if this game has less passing volume than we think. I'm not predicting that, but I'm saying it's in the realm. JMO, that you can't run on them, so they're going to have to throw. Bourne, like you heard me say earlier, I just with Atlanta's funky looks, Mac Jones is going to be getting a lot out to Kittle, I think. Kittle back hurts Bourne too, because Kittle's going to be drawing targets here. I would be inclined to still say JMO here because McCaffrey's tough to trust just because he's an emerging player, but he's not yet a good player. And so I think that's enough for me to say I like the concept, but it could go fabulously bad. And I know JMO hasn't been good. I would go with JMO there. All right, let's see what we got. We got Max next. Max, always appreciate you checking out the shows and all the support. Means a lot. All right. Puka and Wilson out. Yeah, I know. Which should you leave out? You want to leave one of these out. McMillan, Olave, Chubb, DJ Moore. I would leave Chubb out here. Chubb, I called it in his last game. I said, because Woody Marks had gone off the prior game, and I said that the problem was last game that Chubb played, I said, the team, I can't remember who they were playing, but I said, you could pound them up the middle, and that's a Chubb game. And it was. Well, Seattle this week, he's playing. That's really not a Nick Chubb game. If one of them is going to get it, it's going to be Woody Marks. And I know DJ Moore hasn't been very good, but I would sit Chubb here because I just think that was game script or game style dependent in his last outing. So just be careful with that. Like I said, Nick Chubb's one of my favorites, but is what it is. Oh, we finally got Travis Etienne, a screen pass, and he got a first down. Surprise, surprise. Good things happen when you trust Travis Etienne. Delroy, you got Ramondre Stevenson or Tony Pollard. Well, the odds are that New England plays with the lead, 7-point favorites. I'm one of those idiots that's really big into this Mike Vrabel revenge game. I believe that he does want to really stick it to Tennessee. and New England's good against the run. So I think Stevenson, for game script, if they get a lead, he could see some work in that role. And if they get the ball near the goal, I could see him getting it in there. So again, Pollard probably gets a little more volume, but if they trail, it looks like Tyjae Spears could be their guy if they're trailing. So I would, again, you understand the point here. It's not easy because you don't know what the roles are going to be, but I definitely would give Ramondre the edge here. Fabian has another super chat. Darren Waller or Mason Taylor. Normally, we would love to go with Darren Waller here, but I don't think the weather in Cleveland's as bad as making out. I was checking out a weather report, and it's like the rain, a lot of the heavy stuff will be gone before kickoff. The craziest of the winds will be gone, but it's still going to be a heavily wind-impacted game, and I think it's going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Mason Taylor is probably going to have, with no Garrett Wilson, I just think his targets are going to be higher. Waller could always score a touchdown, but I think Mason Taylor has to be heavily involved, so I'd go with him. And then your other question, if Jacobs is out, would I play Emmanuel Wilson over Kenneth Walker? You know what? I think I would go with Ken Walker. You can run to the outside against Houston. So you know I'm not a Walker guy, but I've said Walker's in a good spot this week. Whereas Wilson could be in a 3-man rotation. We could see Pierre Strong in there, but we're definitely going to see some Chris Brooks. So Kenneth Walker, it's going to be a split backfield for Emmanuel Wilson if Jacobs is out. And then your last one is Sutton or Vidal. Love Sutton this week. Love. Remember, Vidal had that pillow soft Miami matchup last week. So trusting Vidal, it's tough because he has a tougher matchup. Running up the middle against them with Grover Stewart and DeForest Buckner, I believe. I got that second name wrong, but I think I got him right. That's a tough draw. So yeah, Fabian, Mason Taylor, Kenneth Walker, and Cortland Sutton for you. All right, here we go. Full PPR, pick one. Io Manor, Bourne, and Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson is looking worse by the minute because Ibuka is potentially going to play. Evans going to play, and that puts him out of work. Between Bourne and Io Manor, Bourne's been great. I think, even though I said the blitz is going to be a problem for Mac Jones, that chemistry is very real. So I would probably go with Kendrick Bourne. I think Io Manor has a chance here. I do. But any snaps he sees on Christian Gonzalez could be a net negative. So I would give Red Hot Bourne a shot over him. Dolphins making a change to their quarterback depth chart, probably for the backups, so we're not worried about that yet. Come on, Pickens or Quentin Johnson. The Commanders play a really high amount of one safety high, and that means deep passing is an asset. And with CD Lamb, Washington's not going to change their philosophy. So to me, you keep rolling with Pickens. Quentin Johnson gets nicked because they're down to a third string right tackle, a second string left tackle. And that we saw it last week, getting the ball out quick. And I know Johnson didn't play, but getting the ball to the underneath guys, I think that's kind of what the Chargers need to do. So I like Pickens, sir, by a good spot. Moore and Lee, 6-point passing TD. Stroud, Rattler, or Young. Young is always tough to trust. He broke 200 yards, I think, once in all of his games. Rattler is a good quarterback, actually. He doesn't get the touchdowns, though. That's been the thing. He really isn't throwing the ball in the end zone much. So that said, Stroud doesn't have a good matchup here. He's going to see a lot of simulated pressures, and he had a couple really nice matchups, so he feasts on those. But I would go with Stroud here because the amount of zone they play, that Nico Collins can kind of make a play and get a long touchdown out of like nothing. So I would probably go with Stroud here. Rattler's close, but it might be a little bit wet in Chicago and a little bit windy and a little bit weird. And I don't know that Rattler's the guy that's going to play through that and come out looking good. Delroy, full PPR, Mayer or Kate. Like I was saying earlier, because Ibuka really could play, and Evans is probably going to play. You got to go with Michael Mayer here, I think. Bill, good morning. Touchdown heavy, scoring with yardage. Kelsey or Goddard? Goddard's been on fire. Kelsey's been coming on the last 2 weeks. I still think Rashee Rice is going to take away a lot of those area of the field targets that Kelsey was getting, and they get a lot more yards after the catch if they go to Rice. I would ride the hottest hand with Goddard. Especially with all those blitzes that Minnesota throws. Goddard could find himself a hot read, and that could work out really well. All right, and what we got next here? And then we got another one there. Oh, Jordan Mason or Pacheco. This one's close. Pacheco played 77% of the snaps this week. They're playing the Raiders. Mason could score, but you know what? Pacheco could break a run that's not at the goal line. I'm going to give, believe it or not, based on the season, you'd laugh at me. I'm giving Pacheco the edge. I called it 3 weeks ago. He is looking explosive. 3 weeks in a row, he's looked explosive now, and I think he's going to be a real part of the dealer. Bears, Grady, Jarrett, inactive. Little bit of a boost, slight boost to Alvin Kamara. Grady Jarrett's a little older, but still in the middle of the line, a little easier to run. Jay, good morning. Appreciate it. Thank you. Need 2 in a flex for PPI. Io Manor, Kendra Miller, Michael Carter, Kittle. Not worried about Kittle. I think they waited with Kittle till he was fully healthy because they were like, he had been doing some limited stuff before. I think he could have come back last week, but they held him out. So I would not worry about Kittle. They need him. They need to win this game. And Waddle, the wind things that I'm seeing, those are diminishing greatly. Those are gusts. The wind is supposed to be closer to 18, 19. And it's not so much, but here's the thing. It's going to be quick connections to them. So the wind doesn't really affect quick passes. And Cleveland, they play a lot of man, but Waddle can get open in the short area. So I would go with Waddle and I go with Kittle here. If you're really scared about Waddle, Michael Carter, because they probably trail, will get some catches here. He will be the passing down back, even though I know Knight did catch a ball last week. Oh, wow. Travis Hunter caught a pass. There you go. All right, Bill. No, do not. I don't downgrade Judkins. And I know people are saying, well, Miami could stack the box. They can't tackle. They just can't tackle. I think they're the second worst team in the league in yards after contact to running backs. And Judkins has been like near the top of the league in yards after contact. So I have Judkins ranked super high. What do I have him at? Because of the Jacobs calf and Achan's matchup with Cleveland, I moved Judkins up to running back 5, and I'm not even worried about it. Judkins has been last week was rough. He's been a superstar out the gate. So I'm not, definitely in the weather. I like him there. All right, let's see. And I wouldn't replace him with any of those guys. So you're good there. All right. So we got here. 4th, there might be a flag there. Okay. All right, Vinny, good morning to you. Fannin or Mason? This one's close because there's going to be a lot of short passing here. There's going to be a lot of blitzes from Miami. So we're probably going to see a lot of quick passes. But with no Garrett Wilson, was he like 35% target share? And Carolina's terrible against tight ends. This is a coin flip. My coin flip would go Taylor because I think he gets more volume. But Fannin could do great as well. That's a real coin flip. I probably have Fannin ranked well higher, too. I got Fannin at 10. So let's go with that then. I got Mason Taylor at 19 with upside. So when I give the guy the upside tag, that's more than 1 for 2 he had last week. So I guess Fannin's probably, Fannin's safer. Let's just go with Fannin. He's safer because even though I think Mason Taylor has to step into a target share with Garrett Wilson out, I think Fannin is guaranteed 6 targets. I think. So, let's go with him and just call it a day. Got to have floor. Goff or Mayfield? I tell people never sit Mayfield unless you've got Jaden Daniels, Mahomes, Prescott, Hurts. I never sit Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield, doesn't matter who he has. He gets it done every week. Every week, this cat gets it done. So I don't sit Baker Mayfield. And Detroit's, they're down with 3 of their top 4 corners. They're down their 2 safeties. And you can't run on them. So guess what Baker's got to do? He's got to throw the ball. And Baker runs, and Goff doesn't. All right, let's see what we got here. Kyle Pitts or Mason Taylor. So again, you see I got Taylor with upside at 19. They got Pitts at 14. It's super close. I think Taylor has more upside. I think even though Pitts didn't do much, I think Pitts has should have a moderate floor here. The upside tag makes me go with Mason Taylor, but I do have Pitts ranked a little higher. So I think Pitts, if you want the floor, it's probably Pitts. More volatility, but I think Taylor has real upside here. Again, Carolina is brutal against tight ends. Delaware pick 3. Tucker, Moore, A.J. Brown, Pittman. What I'll say here is I will say that Pittman's in for a good game here. Pittman they're missing Doolin, who's a backup. I know, but because Downs is out, he's a rotational guy. I like Pittman in this match, but the zone they play, I think he's a fit for that. Look, I know A.J. Brown's been disappointing. You're probably not sitting him. I'm sitting Tucker. I'm sitting Tucker because the big plays, that's what the Chiefs don't allow. The Chiefs typically try to make you win underneath, and that's not Tucker's game. So I would, and I know DJ Moore's been disappointing, but they were getting him involved before he got hurt last week. And then the rain got worse. Before the rain got worse, he already had his 7 PPR points. And then between him getting hurt and then the rain. So, yeah, I'd go with the last 3. I would sit Tucker. Let's go, Dave. No points for rushing yards. Non-PPR, all so touchdown. So it's touchdown only. Jordan Love or Drake May. So this is a tough one. Touchdown only. Tennessee got Tavondre Sweat, their nose tackle, back. Maybe that makes it tougher to run the ball interior against them. So maybe that means Drake May's got to throw the ball at the goal line more. I go Drake May there. Touchdown only is tough. That's all right. Let me just Matthew Stafford, a little check down there to Blake Corum, 21-0, 10 minutes left in the third quarter. Delroy, Prescott or Daniels, nearly impossible to pick it right. I have him as my quarterback 1 and my quarterback 3. Obviously, they're both elite starts. I think it's more likely that Washington's run game gets going than Dallas's, which means Dallas may have to pass more. Impossible choice. I have Daniels my number 1 because he runs more, so I will give Daniels the edge, but good problem to have. The running makes it a bigger deal for him. Tez Johnson or Jalen Coker? Jalen Coker, because it looks like Evans is going to play, and there's a real chance that we see a Buka now. Jordan Mason or Jake Ferguson in the flex? If it's PPR, I'm going Ferguson. If it's half PPR, I'm going Mason. Master J3, good morning to you. Fannin or Taylor? Yeah, somebody had that same question. Again, Taylor's gonna be short passes, so I'm not really worried about that. It'd be if there was a wind problem, it'd be more worried about downfields. I didn't remember seeing anything about the Jets in a heavy wind game, unless that just changed in the last few minutes. I don't remember seeing anything about crazy wind. There were a few games that had wind, but that wasn't one of them, so I'm not worried about that. Fannin's the win. Fannin is the win game. Maybe that's what you meant. Fannin has a higher floor. Taylor has real upside with no Garrett Wilson. So I probably would play the floor play in Fannin because, hey, you know what? Maybe Fannin scores a touchdown as well. So maybe I keep my higher ranking. I'm going my 10th ranked tight end there. United Santini, J-Mo, Monty, or Emmanuel Wilson if Jacob sits. Monty is a brutal matchup, and he hasn't been good in the brutal matchups here because his interior line is not what it was in the past. J-Mo has the biggest ceiling here. I'm going to go J-Mo here. I love Emmanuel Wilson, but you got a really good opportunity in J-Mo. Play action works really well against Tampa, and they could use J-Mo on those. Whereas I think Wilson's going to be in a timeshare with Chris Brooks for sure. And like I said, maybe Pierre Strong gets involved too. Texans, Bears, or Falcons D? Falcons D has been great, but they're on the road. I think it's a different ball game. I think they're faster on their turf. And I'd imagine Shanahan's offense is answer. I'd go with the Bears. The Bears, they played well last week. Dennis Allen coaching against his old team, and it is the Saints after all. Texans, some of the Texans' weaknesses play to the Seahawks' strengths. Their Texans aren't good against play action, and Darnold's been using a lot of play action, middle of the field. So I would go with the Bears. And maybe weather helps. Maybe you get a turnover because of weather. Philip, Buys got you this week. No Cook or Henry, so you need to figure out a Pollard, Marks, or Chubb. Pollard probably gets the most dedicated volume, although he's splitting work with Tyjae Spears. I called last week as a Chubb game. I think Woody Marks might see a little more in the screen game this week. I think Marks has more upside of this group. I think Pollard has the higher floor. So if you want the floor play, it's going to be Pollard, and finally getting a touchdown out of this guy. But I think Marks is more upside. I don't think this is a Chubb game. Last time was. I don't think this one is. Worthy or Johnston? I got Worthy ranked fairly. I do think the Chiefs offense is really, really coming on. and I think they're going to be able to score a lot of points. So I would give Worthy the shot here, and defense can't focus on him anymore because Rashee Rice is back. So I love Quentin Johnston, but I'm down to a third string tackle on the right side, second string tackle on the left side, and Johnson getting some of his work downfield. It's a little problematic. All right, we got Ismail next. Start 2, Mason Monty, Rico Dowdle, or Manuel Wilson if Jacobs doesn't play. Montgomery has a bad matchup. So therefore, I would probably just go with Dowdle and Mason and call it a day. Again, Monty hasn't been good. Jacoby Myers is inactive, everybody. I kind of expected that, but Jacoby Myers is inactive. That is a boost for Michael Mayer. I think he is Jack Besh. If you need a sneaky waiver wire ad, Jack Besh may step in. If the Chiefs get a big lead, they're going to give up underneath stuff. They will give that up. So if you're in a deep league and you're in an emergency spot and Jack Besh is available, you might get 3 catches for 45 yards out of him. So it might be worth looking at. But Michael Mayer's beneficiary. I know Trey Tucker's been beautiful on some games, but again, the Chiefs tend to limit explosives, and that could make it a little more difficult for him. But Tucker's firmly in play as a flex, though. Now he still is because, again, if it's a big enough lead, Chiefs may take their foot off the gas. Ryan, all right, what you got here? 12-man PPR. Lost Debo. That's a rough one, I know. Luke McCaffrey, Chris Moore, Trey Tucker, Io Manor, Jalen Lane, Sterling Shepard, Nick Chubb. So Chris Moore was getting a decent amount of targets. McCaffrey was involved as well. You know what? I think that New England probably plays with a lead. I'm worried about the snaps that Io Manor might see against Christian Gonzalez, but they do play a good deal of zone. I think Io Manor with Calvin Ridley out may be the way to go with that. So I think that's the way I'd go with that. Quinn Ewers has been moved to the backup for over Zach Wilson for the Dolphins. Those in Superflex leagues looking at stash players. Just want you to understand that. I don't know if it's a 1 week thing, but Quinn Ewers is moved to the number 2 spot. That could be a big deal if you're in a deep Superflex league. Randy, you got a Superflex, Chris Moore or Luke McCaffrey? I'm going to say it this way. I think McCaffrey has like the bigger upside. They both could get downfield, but I think McCaffrey has explosive play upside. Non-PPR, I think he is your upside player. I think Chris Moore is more likely to be a staple part of the offense. So I think in your non-PPR, I think Chris Moore has a better probability of getting 5 or 6 points. But McCaffrey has a lower floor, but he has a better chance of getting you to 10 or 11. So I think if you want the upside play, it's McCaffrey. I think if you want to go to base floor, then I think you look at Chris Moore. Joseph has a super chat question. I need to put that one on the screen. It's like a longer one here. And actually, Randy's question was here. I'll go back to here. And then, like I said, that was Fabian's. I was at the bottom. And then, like I said, Randy, for you is Chris Moore is your floor. Luke McCaffrey is your upside. And then Joseph had a super chat question. Half PPR running back to Vidal, Stevenson, Hubbard, Marks. I'm going to go with Hubbard. They're going to trade series. That's the report. And I know Dowdle had 2 great games. Don't forget, they were against 2 of the worst run defenses in the league. And the key is Carolina, nice catch by De'Ami Brown downfield. De'Ami Brown, when he gets opportunities, done really well in this offense. Just doesn't always get the chances. Anyway, back to what we're talking about here. So Hubbard's going to split the series with him. The offensive line has been blocking at an incredible level for Jacksonville, and that's even when they're missing players. Of course, De'Ami Brown's on the field getting attended to, may have hurt his leg. So I would go with Hubbard here. Hubbard's a good player. If they're splitting work, he should be fine. They want to run. And in that game against the Jets, I don't think they're ever in a position where they have to go pass heavy. I think they could run the ball for 4 quarters and be okay. I'd look at that. All right, see where we're at here now. All right. We got AJ next. Full PPR. Ertz or Mason Taylor? I'm going to go with Ertz here. I moved Ertz way up my rankings after Debo was ruled out. The whole thing with that offense in Washington is that they know that teams will give them the underneath stuff. And that Stephon Diggs officially active as expected. All right. But yeah, I definitely will go with Ertz here. Ertz was great last week when the Bears kind of took away Debo, but he was playing hurt, I guess. And now with him out, I think he's their primary underneath guy. I love Mason Taylor this week for upside, but I think Ertz is just going to be very involved. It should be a high scoring game. Iron Eddie, JMO Golden or DJ Moore. I said earlier, the play action works really well against Tampa. So DeAndre Swift active as expected. All right. So JMO's your upside guy. Golden has gotten a little better each week. Every week he's added yardage. So I think Golden may be your floor play here. But I think if you're going for upside here, I think you got to give Jameson Williams your shot here. DJ Moore, like I said, we just haven't had a game from him yet. And until we do right now, you got good options. So go with the good options while you have them. When DJ Moore eventually breaks out of this, then we'll start looking at him better. All right, dude is next. See what you got. Oh, I might have let me see if I have a super chat. Hang on a second here. Nope, I'm caught up on him. All right. So half PPR, you need 2: Scadaboo, Pollard, Jacobs, Wilson. So yeah, just make it easy. Scadaboo for sure, and then just do the Jacobs Wilson switch. Even though Wilson's probably going to split work, he would get the lead in that. Bam Knight, if they're trailing, he'll get relegated for Carter. Pollard, he's splitting work with Tyjae Spears. If they trail, I think Spears the passing down back. So I think that's the easy way to go. One receiver, we always start JSN and we don't ask questions. JSN is actually incredible against teams that play heavy zone, and as good as his opponent, the Texans are, they play a ton of zone. And so therefore JSN should not have much of a speed bump here. And I know they know the corners are very good, but if they're playing zone and that's what JSN shreds, looks like De'Ami Brown is good. He's jogging out of the tent. I'm very happy for the young man. Yeah, he got his leg caught up in the turf a little bit, but he looks good. All right, I'm happy the young man looks to be moving well. Iron Eddie picked 2: Keenan Allen, Swift, Dowdle, or Kamara. Oh, wow, that's a tough one. Keenan Allen is still getting targets at a high rate, but the yardage has dropped the last 3 weeks and the touchdown rate. That could change at any time, but you got other good options here. I do like Kamara against the Bears. The game should, in theory, be close. And if it's close, he should be involved throughout. Swift coming off the good game. I don't like his matchup here as well. Dowdle's running hot. They're going to split the work, but that blocking is so good and the matchup is soft. I'm going to say Kamara and Dowdle, but if you're nervous about Dowdle because of the timeshare, this would be a week to probably give Keenan Allen a shot. I do think that the Colts can bring some pressure, and if they bring pressure, that is going to lend to some of those shorter passes to Keenan Allen. Delroy, full PPR, Vidal, Stevenson, or Spears. Vidal had the game against the pillow soft Miami defense last week. This week's a much tougher matchup. Interior, the Colts line is very difficult to run on. Stevenson, we're hoping he falls in the end zone, but he just is not getting yardage. I mean, I top of my head, is he less than 2 yards a carry the last 3 or 4 weeks? So he's going to be impossible to trust. Spears is interesting in PPR because if, as expected, we're going to have a script where New England's winning, then Spears is potentially really involved here, but he's risky because there's no guarantee week to week that he's going to keep seeing the work. So I think Vidal has the best floor, but I think if you're looking for upside here, I do think Spears could be very involved as a receiver and do well for you there. Waddle or A.J. Brown. I think that Miami, Tua does very well against man defense, and Cleveland plays one of the higher rates of that in the league. And those short passes don't worry me with the wind. The rain's not supposed to be torrential. At least that's what I've heard. Check the weather. Where if you're saying about it being torrential, then you bench Waddle and don't think twice about it. So Brian Thomas dropping another pass. Can't survive the ground. Shaken up, but he's probably fine. All right. Waddle should have a safer floor than A.J. Brown. He's the leading receiver on a team now. The floor is solid. A.J. Brown, we don't know what the heck's going on there with Kevin Patullo. He's so far over his skis. They had a mini bye to maybe adjust things. They both have reasonable upside. I think Brown always has more upside because he's capable of doing things on his own. Waddle's safer. If you want the safe play Waddle. If you're willing to take on some risk, because I don't know that Waddle's going to have a huge game in the conditions. I don't know that a huge game is in play here. But I would start Waddle. I would start Waddle here. And I got Waddle ranked high. I got him 12th with downside because of the weather, and Brown with 15 with downside. I got him close. Ryan said Javonte or Rashad White. Javonte had a down week last week, but they run Javonte outside some. It's tough to run right up the middle against Washington, but Javonte is, look, 5 catches, 5 yards last week. It was only 5 yards, but it's 5 catches, PPR. So I think Williams sees as much passing work as White. White has a ridiculously bad matchup as a runner against Detroit. I'm going to give Javonte the edge here and not think twice about it. All right. Morning to you as well. T. Dowdle or Scadaboo? Because Dowdle is in this timeshare, I just got to say Scadaboo is not a great matchup because I think they're going to put a lot of bodies up front, but he could catch 5 or 6 passes. So Scadaboo is playing really, really well. I got to go Scadaboo here. Dowdle, I guess, at a timeshare, it's possible. It worries me a bit. All right, let me see. I got a super chat. I want to make sure I get back to the right question, though. Let me see, make sure I'm in the right spot here. He's jumped down on me. All right, give me a second here. I think I'm down here. Come on now. I will find where I'm at here. The question just jumped on me, completely jumped. All right, there we go. I'm going to be on Delroy and at 10:03. I'm going to mark 10:03 on my sheet so I remember where exactly to go back to. All right, let's go to the super chats now. All right, super chat we got here. Disco Dave, thank you. I did see you super chat, but I don't see a question with that. So hopefully I answered your question when I saw it earlier. But the only way I can find your super chat questions if they're in here. John asked Stevenson, Walker, or Pacheco. Again, I mentioned earlier, I believe against Houston, you can get to the outside and run, and that's what Walker needs. If Walker has a matchup where you can get to the outside, he is fine because that's all he wants to do. He wants to peck holes to the outside, and then he wants to make the big play. I do think this matchup sets up well for him. However, Pacheco played 77% of the snaps last week, and he has looked explosive 3 games in a row. So Walker, I think, has more upside because I could see Walker in the Houston matchup on paper is tough, but I think the style lends to Walker, but Walker's in that strict timeshare, right? So Walker, consider him boom or bust here because, look, if they do take away the outside run, he's done. Pacheco, I think, will have a good floor here. So Pacheco's your floor play, but if you want to swing for ceiling, I do think Walker has a matchup that he can take advantage of. Got another super chat here from Wentz or Stroud. I have Wentz as my quarterback, 18. Stroud as my quarterback, 21. Because Quinyon Mitchell's playing and Jalen Carter's back, and last week we saw the Giants show, but they were both out. Without those two, their defense is bad. Wentz is still a bad quarterback, and Philly's off a mini bye. If they actually game plan this one out, they could really make Wentz uncomfortable. Because of that, I'm going to give Stroud a shot because, again, Nico Collins, a team that plays a high rate of zone, they could really make that work. I am worried about Stroud, but Stroud will run a little bit too. We learned at the very tail end of the NFL playoffs last year, he'll run. And early to season, he takes off a bit. So I think he does have a little bit of rushing potential there as well. All right, let's see what we got here. All right, so I got the 10:03 question. Now I marked that down, so I'm good to go. And it was, all right there. All right, here it is. It's Delroy. Pollard or Dowdle? I do have to go with Dowdle here because Pollard's in a timeshare just the same way Dowdle is. And if they trail Pollard's team, that means Spears is going to see some receiving work. So there's a real concern with that. So we'll look at that. We're at hour 15. We'll kick off. James Koh will be coming in a little while. We'll go through the inactive report when he comes in. If there's anything, I know I have the alerts as anything crazy comes up. Like I told you, Myers was out for the Raiders. I should see those, but we'll go through inactives when he comes in. All right, we got Kathleen next. You got a half PPR and Abuka. Wait for him or play Bourne. Tez Johnson's available. You know, I would wait for Abuka. And flip to Johnson if you have to. They're down. Detroit's down 3 of their top 4 corners. They're down their 2 starting safeties, man, and you can't run on them. So talk about a game where Baker Mayfield could just eat through the air. And Bourne's been great, but I think with Kittle back, and I think with all the blitz looks that Atlanta's going to send, I think that makes it a no-brainer. If Ibuka plays, we got to go with him. I don't mean no-brainer as an insulting way. I mean as in Bourne doesn't have the best matchup here, where he has had favorable matches for what he might do, and players out, which helped him as well. So I didn't mean it that way, of course. You know that. Ryan, I think Dobbins is a great start this week. The Giants are not good against the run. And that's where we start. They're not good against the run. So you can go with it. And there's a good chance that they play with the lead. And we've seen it. When they play with the lead, Dobbins has a great chance to score a touchdown. Dobbins has a chance of getting 75-plus yards. And I think he's way better than your other options this week. So I'm going to go with that. I got another super chat maybe, and then we'll come back to another Delroy question after that. All right, let's see, we got her super chat here. All right, let's see. I might have two of them. All right, Brent. Need a wide receiver and a flex. Bam Knight, Booty, Io Manor, Malik Washington. Wide receiver and a flex. So my concern for Knight is that Green Bay gets a lead. And if they get a lead, they got to go to Michael Carter as the receiving back. And so that means Knight could get relegated out in this one. Booty and Io Manor, we really don't know what their targets will be, especially Booty. But Ridley's out. So Io Manor, I think, is going to get 5 to 6 targets, and he might even get 7 or 8. So I think we go with him. And then for next one, I think we got to go. Look, Malik Washington, what do you have the one game? 4 catches, no yards. And for him, I don't know if the weather conditions make his life any easier. So I just think we go with Booty, and we hope he gets 3+ targets. And if it works out better and he gets more, even better. Another super chat here, Disco Dave. Touchdown heavy, 3 receivers and a flex. You need 4 of these guys. You got Olave, Moore, Dobbs, McMillan, Worthy, Monunga. You got 6 and you need 4. You need to sit 2. We're sitting Monunga just because of his role. And you know what? I think that DJ Moore was involved before it got sloppy last week, before he got hurt. He had 7 PPRs in the first half before, everything went south. They were starting to use him more. And I think this matchup against New Orleans favors some of this quick passing. Might be a little bit wet in Chicago too. I would sit Dobbs, and it's a tough call, but I would sit Dobbs. If you feel very strongly about DJ Moore, his bad start, I could see you flipping Dobbs for Moore. But Moore was clearly involved coming out of the bye. Again, he got nicked up twice in that game, and I'm going to the hospital. He full practice on Friday. So he is expected to play his regular role. So that's what I would say. That's the way I'd go. Like Worthy this week. All right, let's see what we got here. We got Fabian. Last one for you. All right. Henderson, Marks, Harvey, Jennings, Burden, Coker, Emmanuel Wilson. All right. Juwan Jennings has 1 game that he did something, and the other 3, I want to say, was less than 24 yards. He is hurt. He is significantly hurt. So I just don't, and with Kittle back, I don't think we could trust him right now. So Harvey, if there was a week, it's when they're getting a big lead, and there's a good chance that Denver gets a lead and they could use him, but he's risky, but he has upside. Henderson's not getting much. This isn't a bad Marks week. I think Marks will catch some passes this week. So Coker's interesting. I told somebody else no, but it was because of his other options. I think Coker catches 4 or 5 passes coming back. So let's give Coker a whirl here. And then for the second one, I think the best floor play out of this group is Marks, and your upside play is Harvey. So, but Harvey's risky. But if you need the upside, then I think this could be the game. If they get the lead, Harvey does get involved in those. All right, see where we're at here. All right, let's kick me down a little bit here. And I think I said a Delroy question here, right? All right, here we go. Prescott or Caleb? I'm going to go with Prescott. There is nothing scary about the Washington defense. If this game plays out as expected, we got a shootout. The Chicago game likely is a lower scoring game, so we go that way and we call it a day. Let me make sure I have another super chat here. I do have another super chat, so you can come back here. And we have Miami. Need 2 full PPR. Genty, Scadaboo, Stevens, and DJ Moore. Volume is king in fantasy football. Genty and Scadaboo are getting plenty of it. Follow the volume. The volume and Scadaboo, even if it's tough to run, could you see him catching 5 or 6 passes with that blitz from Denver? I can. So Genti, Scadaboo, call it a day. Volume is just so much in their favor here. And Trevor Lawrence gets sacked again. Oh my gosh. Jacksonville. All right. LA, good morning to you. Otten or Mayer? I'm going to go with Mayer because it looks like Mike Evans is going to play. It looks like Ibuka has a really good chance of playing, and that relegates Otten out. Mayer's in a great spot, especially with Jacoby Myers out, and of course, Brock Bowers not playing. And you need a flex, either of these. Spears, DJ Moore, Emmanuel Wilson. I am going with DJ Moore here. Spears is going to be dependent on them trailing, which you can't guarantee. I think they will. Like I said, you heard me say a minute ago, Moore was involved before the weather got crappy last week and before the injury hit, even though he played through it. So yeah, I'm going to go with him. Nothing worrisome about this matchup against New Orleans. And Trevor Lawrence running out of bounds on a 3rd and 23. Not good. All right, Adam, running back start 2, Genti. White, Rashad White, Krosky, Merritt, Scadaboo. Wow, Krosky, Merritt is a really, really good matchup against Dallas. Scadaboo, in theory, is going to see a lot of stacked boxes today. Genti, you got to start. Because they can use him as a receiver. They can use him as a runner. I just really hard to sit Genti because the volume has been there, and I could see him scoring a touchdown more easily than the others. It's going to be super hard to see Scadaboo coming off a 3-touchdown massive performance. I think he's 90-plus scrimmage yards in all but one game since he took the starting job over. I'm going to start Scadaboo. It's a bad matchup, but he has proven to be the dude, and I love Krosky Merritt's matchup. But I'm just going to start the 2 best players here and call it a day on that. You have 4 good options. Flex 2. CD, Rice, and the running backs. Got to go with CD and Rice. Even if Rice takes a few snaps off, I just see him coming and hitting the ground. CD, I have him as my number 2 receiver. They gave him an extra week off so that he's apparently fully healthy. All right, I'm going to be at 10:07 question next, and let me get another super chat here. All right, we've got Jordan. Good morning to you as well. You need a receiver, a tight end, a flex, so you need 3. Evans, McConkey, Sutton, Goddard, and Kraft. So you need 1 tight end. I am going with Tucker Kraft here. I love the matchup against Arizona. Goddard is a great play too because he has been on fire. But I think Kraft, even at his 4 targets a game, I think this is one of those games where you could see him getting a lot of space in the field to run. And then you need a receiver and a flex from Evans, McConkey, and Sutton. I will go with McConkey and Sutton there. Sutton is a fantastic matchup. McConkey, we saw him get back involved, and I think there's another similar matchup where against that zone, he's going to get open over the middle of the field a lot. Love Evans, love his matchup, but maybe because your options are so good, maybe if he's not quite running at 100%, they don't have to lean on him. And if Ibuka plays, they might not need him as much as they would have otherwise. It's a tough call on that. All right, let's see. I had a 10:07 question here. All right, next one. Swift, Kamara, A.J. Brown, or Quentin Johnson for the flex. I think Kamara has the safest floor against the Bears, runner and receiver, which should be a close game. And I don't think Quentin Johnson is going to be tough because they're down 3rd string left tackle, or 3rd string right tackle, 2nd string left tackle. So I think there's going to be more of a short and intermediate game. Swift, there's a tougher matchup than he had last week. A.J. Brown is just too risky right now. So I think Kamara is the safest floor play. Until I see Philly figure it out, it's really hard to play A.J. Brown over other good options. And then you've got Ottner. We're going to go with Mason Taylor there again because the more it seems that Tampa Bay's receivers are healthy, that's the worst spot that it becomes for Otten. Harlan, good morning to you. Half PPR, McMillan, Addison, or Keenan Allen? I think Keenan Allen has the highest floor of this group. They're going to have to throw underneath a lot. He's getting at least 7 targets a game. The last 3 games haven't been what you saw in the first 3, but he's heavily involved here. I think your ceiling play, if you got to go for ceiling, would be Addison. I could see Addison getting a big play. Remember, Philly's corners beyond their number 1, Quinion Mitchell, are very shaky. So I think Allen's your floor play. Addison's your upside play. McMillan, I only get nervous because I think you'll see a good number of snaps on Sauce Gardner, and I don't think his quarterback's going to be able to throw to tight windows really well. All right, Booty or McCaffrey? The question for both of these guys is like, how many targets do they get? And that's $1 million question, right? I think McCaffrey's in a better spot here because I think Washington is going to need him more than New England will need Booty. Diggs had a down game last week. He's healthy, coming off a chest thing he had during the week, full practice Friday. I think it becomes more of a Steph Diggs game. I think McCaffrey's going to be needed more. It is a true coin flip, as you know. Steve, full point PPR, Rice, Pickens, Odunze. Wow. They're all at the top of my list, right? Odunze is my 8, Rice is my 6, and Pickens and 9. So they're all bunched. There are 3 or 4 spots. So again, talk about total coin flip. I have them all right at the top of my rankings. Pickens has a great advantage in that Washington is not good against downfield passing, and they can't really do anything to him because CeeDee Lamb is back. So I would sit reluctantly Odunze out of the 3 because it could be a little sloppy in Chicago. It could be a lower scoring game. And I think those are the 2 factors, but you can't go wrong. Trust your gut on those because you have 3 of my top 9 receivers to pick from. Reynaldo, Mac Jones, or Darnold. I am going to go with Darnold here. Darnold has been great using play action this year, and Houston has not defended play action well. Also, Houston does not defend the middle of the field extremely well, and they're very good at getting Smith and Jigba and A.J. Barner in the middle of the field. So I'm going to give him the edge there. Mac Jones does not do great against the blitz, and Atlanta's been throwing a lot of simulated blitzes all year. Waddle or Ja'Cory Meyer and JCM. You know what? Dallas is not a good run defense. I will go with Krosky Merritt because I think he has a really strong floor this week with real upside potential. Waddle has a fine matchup. I think with man defense, Tua can typically beat that. I think the safe play with similar upsides, Krosky Merritt. Robs, Booty, McCaffrey, or Bam Knight? Similar question that somebody had. I think Green Bay gets a lead in this game. And if they get a lead in here, I think that puts Bam Knight kind of out of it. So I would say, again, McCaffrey is a little better a play. I mean, James Koh, welcome in, my friend.
What's up? How you doing, Jim?
It's week 7, man. It is so good. I can't believe this will be after today. We'll be halfway through the regular fantasy football season, James.
Oh my gosh, is that right? Wow.
Where did it go?
It is flying.
James, we haven't looked at any inactives yet, so I am going to pull up the inactive report. I'm going to ask you some questions about our inactive report for today. Jacoby Myers is out. So does that make Jack Bech a deep league sleeper for the PPR league?
It does. Again, I think Jack Bech has really been coming on. First of all, he wasn't really utilized at all. Then we saw, a 70% snap share, I believe. Something like that, 70 or 75% snap share last week. Deontay Thornton, his usage has gone way down. I think he played less than 5% of the snaps last week, right? So Jack Bech is out there. I think he's a natural separator in the short and intermediate area, and he kind of sort of works in the same areas that Jacoby Myers works in. So I would imagine I don't want to say it's a 1-for-1 swap, but he's going to work in a very similar fashion. So yeah, I really like Jack Bech, and again, I think he's a pretty good separator too.
And then Michael Mayer. We have Bowers out as well. We said Myers out as well. What are your thoughts on Michael Mayer this week against the Chiefs?
Well, I think sometimes it's funny, right? Because, as we're seeing with this Rams team too, it's, Puka Nacua goes out. I'm thinking, okay, Jordan Whittington could get in there. And sometimes just about the tight ends, they just start running a lot more 13 personnel out there and getting the tight ends more involved, right? So I think the same thing is going to be true for the Raiders here, right? Like Michael Mayer is a more trusted pass catcher in this offense. I think Geno's built up a little bit more chemistry with him than with Jack Bech. And while I wanted to be Jack Bech, I actually think that Michael Mayer may end up getting a lot more work. in this one. And shoot, you know what, man? Can I also just like put this out into the universe? Can we just get a few more checkdowns to Ashton Ginty as well? Like
Right?
us Ashton Ginty folks, man, we need some PPR checkdowns, man. Come on, help us out a little.
Oh, 100%. This might be the week for it. Hopefully they fall a little bit behind Kansas City and make that all happen. Jalen Coker is finally active. A lot of people are holding out hope for him. They are playing the Jets. The Jets could see it with Sauce Gardner, a number of snaps on Ted McMillan. Does Coker look good in his first game?
I don't think so. Look, the other thing too, it's I'm just a little bit worried about Bryce Young. It's like I know he's just been an up and down quarterback. I don't know. It's almost as if Jim, like he was so terrible to start, and so we buried him, and then he started playing just a little bit better football, like league average football, and now everyone's like, oh well, the redemption arc is continuing. It's like, oh well, he's ascending, he's gonna be this like great quarterback. It's like, we're overreacting both ways, It's he was terrible, yeah, great, but then we give him a bunch of first and second round picks and Jalen Coker too, and all this stuff, and then he starts playing a little bit better. I just don't, I don't see that much out of Bryce Young. I could see him as like topping out as like the 15th best quarterback in the NFL, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. That's fine.
Right.
But let's not make it seem like he's a top 8, top 7 quarterback right now. That's crazy.
There's no doubt about that. Hey, another player, Calvin Ridley, we knew he'd be out. Right. Is Alec Iomanner a player that we could start if we're in a pinch?
I don't think so. I wanted to believe in Alec Iomanner last week too, but I think this offense is just broken. Mike McCoy's now there. It's like, whoa, what are we getting? What are we getting right now? I just don't know. It's hard to trust Cam Ward. I think Ward's been very up and down too. But again, Tennessee's cupboard is so bare. I mean, shoot, give Cam Ward what Carolina's got right now, and we're talking a little bit different story. You know what I mean? Like, Alec Iomanner's fine, but he's a day 3 rookie for God's sakes. Like,
exactly.
That's the best that they got. Oh my gosh, they're in trouble.
One more question before we get back to the start sits. So the story on Rico Dowdle and Chuba Hubbard based on ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, they're going to trade series early, flexibility to change the flow of the game. The offensive line and the tight ends have been blocking out of their minds for the Panthers. Right. When they missed 3 guys from their starting lineup last week, the replacements blocked great. It is a great system for running the ball. What are you telling people who are looking to Hubbard and Dowdle this week?
I mean, obviously, I think if you have Dowdle, I think you play Dowdle. I just don't. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. I think he'll be fine. I would say this too, though. Carolina, what they've done again the last 2 weeks is against some of the worst defenses in the NFL. Right? Miami, horrible. Dallas, horrible. Right? The Jets this week, not. I don't want to say they're not horrible. They're not good, obviously, because the offense isn't helping them out. But I think on a snap-by-snap basis, I think the Jets are fine. I wouldn't say they're bad. I just wouldn't say they're good either, right? So I think they're fine. So I think, though, they're running. Carolina's running into league average defense here. It's going to be a little bit of a split, but at the end of the day, I still don't think you could sit down Dowdle. I think it's going to be a 50-50 split. Let's see how it works out.
And then we super chat question. One last one. We're caught up with those. Miami asks, need one. Addison, Dobbins, DJ Moore, Quentin Johnston, full PPR.
Still hard to trust Quentin Johnston coming off that injury. It's competition for targets. I kind of sort of lean Dobbins here. I love the matchup that he's got against the Giants. The Giants have been absolutely horrific against the run. They're allowing 5.5 yards per carry to opposing running backs. And shoot, if you take away the London game last week, and by the way, London is becoming just an absolute, like, we can't play guys in London. It's like, it's so bad. How many of these dudes are just doing nothing in London? It's crazy. Anyways, Dobbins before the London game was averaging 5.2 yards per carry. So you kind of sort of add those two things together. I think Dobbins has a really, really nice day against the Giants.
Jeremy asks, starting running back and a flex running back. That's all.
Standard league.
I don't understand it.
Right.
Standard league. Walker, Ibuka, Montgomery, Vidal. How do you? Which 2 do you start out of those?
Well, you can't trust Ibuka. I mean, there's talks of maybe he gets in there, but how much does he play? How limited will he be? It also seems a little bit rushed to get him out there, right? I just I think they protect him a little. I don't think he'll go. I'm going to say Walker and Vidal in this one. Vidal played a ton of snaps. He was trusted there, and I love the tape too. Right, like I really just like Kamani Vidal in general. And there's talks of Walker potentially getting a little bit more snaps. I mean, played a season low. What is it? 35% of the snaps last week. It doesn't make sense, Jim. It doesn't make sense.
This is a team.
It's just crazy.
And this is a matchup where I told people he can get to the outside against Houston, and that's where he lives. If Walker can get to the outside, he's dangerous, right. And I think he can get there this week. So I like that one. Abraham asks, Kayshon Boutte or Tony Pollard?
This one's got my brain in a pritz. Jim, what do you think here? This one's tough.
Pollard has a better floor. It's not much, but he has a better floor. We never know. Boutte had a great week 1. He had 1 target and caught a touchdown in week 2. And then they just basically ignored him for 3 weeks, and then he erupts last week. So Boutte's your swing for defense guy. If they give him targets, he is darn good. He can play, and he can dominate. But they've proven they don't really want to get him the ball regularly. Pollard, safe floor play, boring floor play, probably 6-7 points. Boutte could get you a 1. Boutte could get you a 1. But you know what?
I'm with you, though. I know I'm with you, though, right? Like, I still stick in Boutte.
Yeah,
what's the upside here for Pollard? What's the
There's not enough upside. If the floor was 10, I'm like, okay, start him. But that's not there, and he's not scoring touchdowns.
Right.
And their offensive line ain't helping anybody. Kathleen wants to know, half PPR, has Abuka, should play or wait for Bourne or Keenan Allen? Has McConkey as well on a side note.
Got it. I would play Bourne. Half point Abuka. Okay, look, listen. So if I really just don't think Abuka's going to play. That's just my personal. I don't know. And even if he does, I think he's extremely limited, right? And like also the threat of re-injury really scares me too, right? When we're talking about the hamstring, right? Like he could tweak that at any point. He might be a go. He might be a start. 3 plays in. Oh, okay. Pull up. I'm gone for 2 quarters. You know what I mean? Like. I can't trust it. Go get me Kendrick Bourne in there.
There's going to be torches and pitchforks coming after you when you wish that into existence with your words.
I'm just saying, man.
You're going to need that X-Men shirt. You're going to need that X-Men shirt to build. You're going to need like Storm coming out to help you here.
That's right. You know it.
All right. Chris wants to know PPR wide receiver 3 in a flex with these players, but there are no players, so I guess we can't answer that question. Right. Steven wants to know, looking for thoughts on second flex spot full PPR. Dowdle, Walker, Addison, DJ Moore, Romeo Dobbs, and again, we need a 1 flex PPR.
Okay. Well, first of all, it must be a very deep team. If your second flex spot is between Dowdle, Walker, I mean, these are all starters. Right. These are all starters right here. That's crazy. I'm gonna go to Walker, dude. Jim, I might just pick Walker till I'm dead, like to my grave. I might just take Walker. I just think he's such a good player, and he's in such a great system. I mean, and he's running really well. This is what doesn't make sense. If it was like the New England situation, where Ramondre's like averaging 3.1 yards per carry, I get it. The guy's he's averaging like more than 4.5 yards per carry right now. He's playing extremely good football. Shoot, well, you talk about running to the outside, and as we know, we want to run outside zone in this system here in Seattle. He's averaging 5 yards a carry when he's running to the outside, Jim. Like, that's crazy. Get this guy the football. I just don't understand what's going on.
Let's take over the coaching staff there. I think that needs to happen. Julian wants to know Rico Dowdle or DeAndre Swift.
I think Swift has a better floor. Dowdle, if he gets a hot hand, could get going. But, I think I'm going to go Swift right here. I think I'm going Swift right here. I think they both have similar floors, and I think Swift may have a higher upside just in the fact that he is kind of the lead dog in Chicago.
So we just saw another Thursday night Pittsburgh Steelers every tight end eats. Terrence Ferguson just caught a bomb for a touchdown. He was eating. Higbee was eating. Parkinson was eating. The tight ends are ruling this week. And it's not even National Tight End Day. All right, before we get to the next one, we got a super chat. And then, James, I'm going to get out of here and let you take care of business. We have got, I think we got 2. I got Quincy. Quincy wants to know, sit 2. Rice, Sutton, Evans, Ibuka, and then Bill Krosky. You're already sitting Ibuka, I know. So who's one more out of that group you're sitting?
Oy. I wonder if I sit down Rice. You know why, Jim? First of
Tell
all,
me
it's his
why.
first game back. First game back in over a year. Isn't it a little disrespectful to the NFL to say, okay, this guy's not going to come back? He hasn't played football in over a calendar year. He's going to step in and be a beast. I don't know. It just, and again, there's a competition for targets there too. It's not as if, Xavier Worthy doesn't belong and get some targets. It's not as if Hollywood Brown hasn't played. Travis Kelce's in there. Isaiah Pacheco is playing a little bit better. There's a competition for touches and targets, and I think Rice coming back, first game back after a year, I think it's a little crazy to think that he's going to come in and be that guy that we saw over a calendar year ago.
Jordan wants to know, need one for a flex. Kendrick Bourne or Monty, who's facing that difficult Vita Vea run defense in the Buccaneers?
I don't know why, but I just feel like Monty's going to get more work this week. And again, this is more of a gut call right here. But again, if you're in PPR, I do think that Kendrick gives you a little bit better floor. There's still, again, a big time need in San Francisco for pass catchers. I actually like the fact that Mac Jones is playing too. It's fine. I think that matchup is a little bit wonky. I'm a little bit worried about the matchup. But overall, I think I kind of sort of trust Kendrick Bourne a little bit more for the floor. But shoot, I don't know why. I just feel like David Montgomery might have a nice day today, though.
James, great hanging out with you. You'll take care of business the rest of the way. Everybody have a great show with James. I'm going to leave you with that question on the screen.
There it is.
James, everyone have a great week 7.
See you, Jim.
Bye.
Jim's the best. I love Jim. All right, Brian Pope, what's going on, man? DJ Moore or Juwan Jennings? I'm obviously not trusting Juwan Jennings right now. The ribs, the ankle, the injuries, I think, are piling up here. DJ Moore, it's really hard to wait. DJ Moore, DJ Moore's all kinds of banged up, isn't he? Man, I'm not sure. Listen, I just kind of glossed over the fact that DJ Moore. I guess I'll go Jennings here. Brian, the problem with these two questions, though, right? Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm not in the room. I don't know how banged up these two guys are. DJ Moore had to spend the night in the hospital, though. That's generally not good, I'm gonna say Jennings. And with like 51% confidence, so not very much confidence, man. Again, I just don't know their medical situation, to be honest with you. So either one could go crazy, but medical situation concerns me there. This is from Chris Williams. 1 point PPR, wide receiver 3 in flex. Myers is out, obviously. So there's that. Dubs, you could pick up Chris Moore. Well, you want to play, Emmanuel Sanders. I'm confused. Emmanuel Sanders? What? Great wide receiver. Awesome wide receiver. I love Emmanuel Sanders. We follow each other on Twitter, I believe. No, but give me Kamani Vidal. Give me Romeo Dobbs. Oh, you might be talking about Emmanuel Wilson, maybe in Green Bay, right? With Josh Jacobs looking doubtful there. It doesn't matter though. Give me Dobbs and give me Vidal. Chris Moore's a deep sleeper. I love the matchup against Dallas. If you want to play Chris Moore over Dobbs, I don't hate it, especially with Debo and Terry McLaurin out. But yeah, I will take Dobbs and Vidal right there. Julian Ortiz, Keenan Allen, Mims, Mike Evans, DK, return yards. Oh man, Julian, I'm sorry, man. I don't play in any return yard leagues. I don't know. Do any of these guys get returns? Mims gets returns. Man, I don't know. Give me Mike Evans. I'll take Mike Evans there. He's obviously going to be the lead dog. Number 1, Emeka Buka is going to be extremely limited or maybe not even play. Baker Mayfield's playing out of his mind. I think he'll get Mike Evans activated and going early. And again, I think he's fully recovered from his hamstring injury as well. So I will take Mike Evans. Oh, I got to pick 3. Okay. If I'm picking 3, give me Mike Evans. Again, I don't know what's up with the return yardage, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Keenan Allen and Mims. I will not invest in Tennessee's offense. I will not. Uncle Ted. Hey, by the way, Uncle Ted, I believe you were the guy that was caping up for Jackson Dart. And I was like, I'm not a big Jackson Dart guy. First of all, I'm still not a Jackson Dart guy. He's getting by on vibes. But let me tip my hat to you, friend, because you were in early on Jackson Dart. I believe it was you, Uncle Ted. You were in early, and obviously the returns early on have been fantastic. Fantastic for Jackson Dart. So tip of the hat to you. I still think he comes crashing back down to earth this week against Denver. But still, though, it's worth saying. I believe our guy, Uncle Ted, over here, called it with Jackson Dart, so good on you. All right. Ryan Bloomrider. Bloomrider. I don't know. A 20-man league. Good for you, brother. I love it. 20-man league. Let's go. Should I start Matthew Golden or Luke McCaffrey? Matthew Golden. Give it to me. Luke McCaffrey is really interesting, especially with Debo out. But I don't know. They don't really get him on the football field a lot, right? Like Debo was out there last week, but still, he's splitting time here with Jalen Lane. By the way, Travis Hunter just scored a touchdown. Great to see, especially for you Travis Hunter folks, especially for you Trevor Lawrence folks. Deep touchdown as well. I don't know what the stats are on Travis Hunter, but that's got to be one, like, he only has like a couple catches, right? I don't have the stat sheet pulled up right now. But go ahead and give me Matthew Golden. I like the matchup this week for him as well. Don't say that about Jacobs. I think I missed that one. Brian Pope, Booty or Waddle? Oh, Waddle. Waddle by a lot. Waddle's eating, and he's a better player. Give me Waddle. Doing a hell of a job on the info. I think that was for Jim. Jim does do a hell of a job on that info, man. He's crazy, bro. Baller. Alu J. I don't know. Start Evans or Odunze. Oh, we're going Odunze here. Hey, listen. Odunze's a top 10 wide receiver. I like Mike Evans a lot. Mike Evans is a, high ceiling wide receiver too, though. You know what I mean? Give me Odunze every single time. Ryan again. Rico Dowdle, Ramondre, or Emmanuel Wilson if Jacobs is out. 10-man PPR. I'm going to trust Rico Dowdle. I think all these guys are in a timeshare. Emmanuel Wilson's just not that good. I don't know. I'll go Rico Dowdle here. Ramondre is obviously not running that well. He's got these fumbling issues as well. He is seeing 70% of the snaps for some reason, which is crazy. But I will take Rico Dowdle, who I think is going to be in a 50-50 split. A little bit tougher matchup against the Jets this week, but that's okay. I still think he gets it done. Brian Pope, Otten, Taylor. Oh, we got some tight end questions here. Barner, dredging the waiver wire. Yeah, you really are here. I don't mind Otten, and let me explain why. Because Otten, actually, look, if Emeka Buka doesn't go, it's for me, it's Otten. Otherwise, I really like Mason Taylor here. Mason Taylor, I think, has got a pretty decent matchup. Let me pull this up for you here, because I did have him. I marked him down as one of my sleepers this week. So, excuse me. Let me go here down to. Oh my gosh, where is this data, bro? Okay, he's taking on Carolina. Sorry. Bear with me. I got it. I promise you. Carolina. Okay. So Carolina has given up the second most fantasy points per game to the tight end position. And not only that, they have given up at least 11.9 PPR points in, 1, 2, 3, in 3 straight weeks and in 4 of the last 5 games. Right? So I like Mason Taylor here. He's obviously being leaned on. Oh, by the way, Garrett Wilson also out of this ball game as well. Look for Justin Fields, who has leaned on tight ends in the past, to potentially lean on the rookie here in Mason Taylor. So I like Otten. I like Taylor quite a bit. All right, Ray Corona, what's up, man? PPR Gino. Wait, what is this? Superflex? Cheers from Cabo. Hell yeah, let's go. Okay, Gino, Dubs, Coker, Chris Moore, Jacoby. Jacoby's out, so that's easy. Hey man, if this is a super flex, I'm sorry, but you just got to play the quarterback. Um, there's just too much upside. I think there's just too much upside if you're leaving on the table there. If you don't do it, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and give me Geno relatively easily there. Ryan's back here. Michael Pittman, got to play him. Downs is out. Am I picking one? If I'm picking one, it's Michael Pittman by a million miles. Over Kendrick Bourne, over Matthew Golden, over Luke McCaffrey, over Chris Moore, over Jalen Lane for sure. Michael Pittman, again, Josh Downs is out with a concussion, right? Michael Pittman is in there. He's going to see 10 targets. I love it. Brian Pope, Pollard or Pacheco? Pollard or Pacheco? Oh, Pacheco. Not, you know what? I don't even know why I hesitated. Not even close. KC's offense is really coming around. Pacheco's playing a lot better. Pacheco's been actually running pretty good. I think over his last 4 games, this is just off the cuff. I'm not totally 100% sure on this, but over the last 4 games, he's definitely 100% for sure averaging over 4.5. I think it's 4.6 yards per carry over his last 4 games. He's running harder. He's playing more. He's getting more snap share. He's running more efficiently. I think Pacheco looks good. And the offense is great. Hey, listen, the offense is great, and you want running backs on great offenses. Pollard is now all of a sudden in a split in Tennessee, was dominating, playing 80, 90% of the snaps, getting 90% of the running back touches. All of a sudden, he's in a split. He's fighting for fantasy relevance here with Tajay Spears, right? So even if it's a 65-35 split, he needed that volume to be relevant. He's not getting that volume right now. You know what I mean? The offense stinks. Maybe they have a little bit of a post-firing bump, which we do see quite often, both in the NFL, especially in college. Golly, we saw it with UCLA, we saw it with UAB. But I'm saying in the NFL, we see that a little bit as well. So we might see a little post-firing bump, but overall, not really trusting Pollard because of the split there with Spears. And KC's offense, I think, is playing really good. I mean, they're playing really, really well. Give me that starting running back. In a good offense. Give me Pacheco. Last one from Ryan. Are you sure, Ryan? You sure this is your last one? I don't know. Darren Waller, Hunter Henry, 10-man PPR. Oh, God. I don't have I keep saying not Hunter Henry because I just keep thinking he's not going to do it. I'm tripping, though, man. Like, you know what, man? I'll take Hunter Henry. Darren Waller's, golly. I want it. Look. Here's my leaning. My leaning is Darren Waller, but it's mostly because I have a blind spot for Hunter Henry. The funny thing about Hunter Henry, he's not running well. Like when you watch him, the guy looks like a freaking barn door. I'm going too far. That's too much hate, actually. Okay. But I don't think he's running that well. And they spread the ball around in New England. Like a bunch of different guys are getting the football. And yet, when they get around the red zone, they seem to be looking for Hunter Henry. So maybe I'm just tripping here, but I do like Darren Waller quite a bit, but maybe it's my blind spot talking. I'm not sure. Cleveland's got a pretty decent defense too. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, Cleveland against Miami. Okay, they have allowed what is it? They have allowed what their bottom 6 in touchdowns per game allowed to the tight end. That's not bad. Hawkinson had an day, 9.8. Laporta had an day, 6.9. Tucker Kraft had a bad day at 5.9. So you know what? Screw it. Hunter Henry, let's go. Even though they have given up touchdowns, it's been to kind of sort of backups. So Darren Waller. I like Darren Waller, but I think this one is Hunter Henry. Let's go. Hunter Henry. I just talked myself into it. Noah Anderson, Addison, or Luke McCaffrey. I know y'all want to love Luke McCaffrey. Guys, he's a part-time player. Bottom line is he's a part-time player. If you want to chase that upside, go for it. I'm not going to be that guy, though. I'm just not going to be that guy. Like, I'm not going to be a guy that's like, well, I need to rely on somebody getting, some insane amount of first read looks for a part-time player. I can't do it, man. He's splitting work with Jalen Lane. I don't know. He's fine. I think Luke McCaffrey's fine. I still don't think he's great. If his name was like Luke Johnson and he didn't have McCaffrey on the back of his name, would you care about this guy at all? Would anyone care about this guy at all? I'm just confused, you know? I think he's fine. I don't like, I'm not trying to say he's bad, but he's also not that great. Like, what are we talking about here with Luke McCaffrey? I don't get it. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I like Chris Moore a little bit more. Luke McCaffrey will certainly get run now that Debo's out as well. There's no question. Luke McCaffrey will get some run. But Jalen Lane's going to work in there. I think they're going to work in, tight ends, running backs, and all that kind of stuff. They got to spread the ball around a little bit more here with Washington. But again, Addison is the clear-cut number 2. I like the fact that Carson Wentz is playing. And yeah, I'm really not that worried about Addison. Addison has been a strong regular contributor for the Minnesota Vikings, right? So I'll take Addison here, safer floor, just as good upside as Luke McCaffrey. So, and if that's how we're playing this game, come on, man, give me Addison. I don't think it's that. Honestly, I don't even think it's that close. Juju owns the Raiders from Uncle Ten. Interesting. I do know that Mahomes owns the Raiders. That's for dang sure. He goes crazy. My only question with Juju would be, how much does he get on the football field with the return of Rashee Rice? That would be my major question there. Roth Tiberius Kane. Dog, is that your real name? That is the coolest name I've ever seen. Tiberius Kane? Tiberius Kane is a movie name straight up. What? That's an awesome name, dude. What? That's amazing. Starting Luke McCaffrey. Hey, good luck, brother. Like I said, I don't get the hype, but it's okay. Luke McCaffrey, I don't get everything right, so I don't know. Maybe I'm proven wrong big time this week. That's okay. Like I said, Deebo Samuel's out, so I understand he's going to get some playtime this week for sure, 100%. J-Dubs, should I trade Rice and White for CD and Tootin? You're trading Rashee Rice and Rashad White, and you're getting CD Lamb back? Yes, I make that deal. Your running backs right now are on IR in Hampton. Oh, bro, why do you even care about Mixon? Drop Mixon. Mixon's not even worth it. Who cares about Mixon? You've got Judkins. You've got Vidal. You've got Chase Brown. Bro, you make that deal yesterday. What are you talking about? 100% J-Dubs. If that deal's still on the table, I want you to literally go on your app right now, hit accept. That's an auto accept. That's not even close. That's like a borderline vetoable trade in your favor. 100% I'm making that deal every single time. Vinny Burgundy, Pacheco or Hubbard? I'm going to go Pacheco here. Higher scoring game. Let me bring this up for you here because I've got it. This Carolina Jets game has a total of 43.5. It's not very good. The Carolina Panthers are projected to score 22.5 points, which is bleh. That's kind of just whatever. Then you take a look at KC. KC is anticipated to score 28.5. So again, a lot more touchdown upside. They're a 10.5 point favorite. What does that tell you? Right? That it could be a heavy run script in the second half as well, or at least in the fourth quarter. So Pacheco for me, I think is in a great spot. If you've got anyone out there, if you all got Pacheco, I'm running him out there with confidence today, right? Potentially great run script here as KC's a 10.5 point favorite. Great offense. He could get a touchdown early and get yardage late. I like Pacheco a lot, man. I do. I think he's for me, Pacheco is a top 15 play at running back. I don't know. T. Waldrop. Is Rico a must start in PPR? No, he's not a must start. I think he's a strong start, but he's not a must start. Just depends on what else you got out there. Sleek. What's up, Sleek? Abuka, Travion Henderson, or Judy? Oh, my goodness gracious. That's tough, bro. That is tough. I'm really not trusting Abuka. Travion Henderson is tough to trust as well. Jerry Judy, God, Dylan Gabriel, yikes. Of this group, I tell you what, if Abuka plays, play him. Of this group, what's the upside for these other guys too? I don't know. If I'm going to rank it, I'm going to say Abuka if he plays If he doesn't play, I'll take Judy, and then I'll go Travion Henderson. Travion's just not playing. By the way, can I just say, look, the hype for Travion Henderson, guys, like, why? He just hasn't played that well. He's averaging 3.6 yards per carry. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, by the way, according to Sports Info Solution, Travion Henderson is one of 2 running backs, qualified running backs, that have not broken a tackle this year. He hasn't broken a tackle this year. Among all running backs with at least 25 carries. By the way, Devontae Adams, another touchdown. 3 on the day for Devontae Adams. How many is that for? Is that 5 touchdowns for Stafford? Oh, my gosh. He's going crazy. I hope you guys played Stafford today. Good Lord. He's going nuts. Okay, so, again, yeah, man. Travion Henderson just hasn't played that well. You know, everyone's like, he has to get on the football field. He has to get on. Does he? He's averaging 3.6 yards per carry. I mean, it probably should be closer to 50-50. There's no question. But again, as I wrote in my article this week, it's like, wow, what's the? I just don't understand. You know, I don't understand. Swift or Olave in the flex? Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna say Olave, guys. I feel an Olave touchdown in my bones today. As a matter of fact, we've been pretty good with this overall, but let me just do this. I'm going to tweet this out there. I'm feeling a Chris Olave touchdown today in my bones. All right. That's it. That's the one. I really feel Chris Olave is going to get it done this week. I really do think that he's gonna score a touchdown. Look, Chicago's been giving up a lot of touchdowns overall, and I think overall it's a decent matchup. I wouldn't say it's a great matchup, but it's decent. You know, we're taking a look at Chicago right now. They have allowed, what is it? They've allowed multiple touchdowns to quarterbacks in 4 of the last 5 weeks, right? So I do think that Chris Olave gets out there and scores one. I do. I'm really liking it this week. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what's going on. You take a look at some of their past matchups here. The aforementioned Luke McCaffrey scored a touchdown against them. Week 5, they had a bye. Man, they saw Las Vegas in week 4. Who cares? Week 3, they had Pickens. George Pickens scored a touchdown. Right? Jamison Williams scored a touchdown. Jay Jetta scored a touchdown. So, yeah, man, I just feel like Olave is going to get in there this week. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. Let's go with Chris Olave this week. Ray Corona, PPR, Geno Smith. Oh, we did this one already, right? We got to go quarterback here. Delroy. By the way, I'm catching up, y'all. If y'all got more questions, throw them in the chat. I'm catching up. Alec Io Manor or Sterling Shepard. I'll go Sterling Shepard here. I would much rather go with like the number 2 wide receiver. I don't know if Ibuka is going to play. If Ibuka plays, I'll go Alec Io Manor because I don't want to take the number 3. But if he doesn't play, I will take Sterling Shepard. I'll take Sterling Shepard over Alec Io Manor. Better offense overall. Yeah. Baker and he have a little bit of chemistry built into Delroy, so go ahead and give me Sterling Shepard. Raymond Jason, touchdown only league. Wow. Raymond, how old are you, my guy? This is beyond dinosaur leagues. I call standard leagues dinosaur leagues. This is like I can't even come up with an age. Like, it's not the Mesozoic. That's still dinosaurs, bro. Like, what? This is a pre-dinosaur era fantasy league. Only touchdowns. I love it. Ashton Jinty or J.K. Dobbins. I'll go Dobbins in a touchdown only. Yeah, give me Dobbins, sir. Again, a great matchup against the Giants. I think he gets in there too. What are the 6 best Yard producers for this week, in my opinion. Yard producers? Oh, dude, I can't do this. Come on, man. Not on a start-sit stream. Maybe if you caught me in earlier in the week, I'd sit through the stream and, like, go through it. I can't go through that right now, brother. I appreciate it, though. It's an interesting question, for sure. Good morning. Well, to Jim. I don't take offense. Jim. I love Jim. Full point PPR. By the way, Jim and I are going up against each other in fantasy this week on the RotoWire. So let's go. Okay, full point PPR, Otten, Mason Taylor, or Ingram. Again, if Ibuka's out, give me Otten. I answered this one before. Mason Taylor, I think, has a really, really good matchup this week as well. So I'll take Mason Taylor. Generally, I'll take Mason Taylor. Give me Mason Taylor. Ingram is, I don't know. Ingram's a guy to me. Ingram is a guy. I know he's got some name brand, but man, Denver's thrown to like 19 different dudes. Really hard to trust overall. Man, Brian Thomas banged up again, man. He has been just on and off the football field. He's getting banged up pretty bad. It's really interesting. Man, he's got a hurt shoulder now. Wow. Okay. Not good. Greg, Dowdle, Pittman for sure. Oh, you need two? Swift. Pittman and Swift. Look, Downs is out. Pittman's going to see tons of targets, and I love him. He's just a good football player, period. Swift, like I said, I think he's in a pretty decent spot as well against New Orleans. Here, let me pull up some New Orleans numbers here for you. New Orleans. New Orleans is allowing, what is it? Actually, New Orleans has been decent against the run, to be honest with you, but they do give up some production through the air. So I like Swift here. I do like Swift. I'll take Pittman and Swift right here. By the way, I don't know what that is going to look like too. The split in the backfield for Carolina. You figure Dowdle's still going to see 65%, but hard to trust either way. Delajeezy. My guy Delajeezy. I love the profile pick too. You need to start two. Points PPF? Points per first down? Right? I think points for first down. Okay, we'll go with that. Luke McCaffrey, Dowdle, Coker, Ibuka. Again, I'm not trusting Ibuka. Coker first game back in a minute, so hard to trust. Competition for targets there as well. Dowdle for sure. If you're starting two, now I'm going between Luke McCaffrey and Coker. I will go Luke McCaffrey right here. I'll go Luke McCaffrey, better offense, better quarterback. I would say more guaranteed target share too, so I guess we'll see. So I'll go Dowdle and Luke McCaffrey right here. All right. Vinny Brigandi, Xavier Worthy, or Ramondre Stevenson. God. The thing with Ramondre that's going to be really interesting is I think he's going to play, and it's in a pretty good spot against Tennessee, right? It's in a really great spot, as a matter of fact, against Tennessee. We're talking about it here. Tennessee has given up the fourth most fantasy points per game to the running back position. They've been getting absolutely gashed, mostly because they've given up the second most touchdowns to running backs here as well. I think Ramondre has a decent chance to get into the end zone, but I don't know why, man. I just think Worthy just could go off. You know what I mean? With again, when we're talking about sorry, I'm watching this game real quick. That's the problem with all these London games, man. I got one eye on this game, man. I'm one eye on this chat, man. It's too crazy. Anyways, okay, so I go back to Mahomes. Mahomes absolutely crushes the Raiders. I do think Worthy gets behind this defense. I like Worthy in this one. Give me Worthy because I just think, like I said, I think he can get behind the defense and give you a really, really nice game. So let's find out. Okay, Jasanti Kiel. I don't know. I probably butchered that, my man. Sorry. DeAndre Swift or Scatabo at the flex. I think that's the Giants are so befuddling, man. Like their whole team is just built on vibes right now, dude. You know what I'm saying? Look, I know Scatabo's been playing a lot. He's been crushing it, which is great. I'll still take Swift. I think Swift's in a better spot to do well. I'm just really worried. I think Denver bottles up the Giants. Ah, God. I am really honestly thinking about the matchups here. Maybe I'm thinking about it too much. You know what? Give me Scatabo. I'll take Scatabo. My bad. At first, I wanted Swift, but you know what? Scatabo is the better player. He's getting more usage. It's a terrible matchup against Denver, but that's okay. I'll take Scatabo there. All right. Tier Diaz, my guy. Local Hollywood star, Tier Diaz. Hell yeah. How many of y'all got an IMDb page? Huh? How many? I don't know. Tier Diaz got an IMDb page, though. Daniels or Mahomes? Oh, Mahomes. Like I said, I think he's going to go crazy against Las Vegas. Daniels is down his top 2 wide receivers. I don't know. I think he'll still be fine. But yeah, I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to invest in that. Right. And again, Mahomes has, Rashee Rice coming back. He's working on all cylinders right now. He is really, I think he is doing really, really well. Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Jose Avalos. You need 1 running back and 1 wide receiver. You need a win. Give me JMO over AJ Brown. I hate that, but I'm gonna. If you're trying to chase a little upside, give me JMO. I think that's going to be a high scoring game, by the way. You need 1 running back. If you need 1 running back, Wilson, are you talking about Emmanuel Wilson? Nah. Again, we already had the Swift Scatabo conversation, so give me Scat. So give me Scatabo. I'll take Scatabo, and I will take JMO there. Jose, good luck to you, man. Laura and Jim Cooperman, let's go. Good to see you guys in the chat today. In a PPR, if Jacobs is out, Emmanuel Wilson, Pollard, or Woody Marks. Also, one of those RBs or Alec Pierce at the flex. Ooh, I like the Alex Pierce upside because Downs is out. I don't know if that ends up being anything, but maybe. Listen, if Jacobs is out, I still don't really like Emmanuel Wilson all that much, to be honest with you. Mostly because I think it's going to be a split. And Emmanuel Wilson's just, it's not like he's a world beater here. I will take Woody Marks, to be honest with you. I think I like Woody Marks right there. And then would I take Pollard or Pierce? Man, this is a tough question. But give me Woody Marks, and then I will then play. Pollard has a better floor. Alec Pierce is just a little too. He's a little too, up and down for me. I'm gonna go Woody Marks and Pollard. I'll go Woody Marks and Pollard. I'm gonna feel really bad if Alex Pierce ends up getting behind the defense and scoring a long one. I don't know. We'll see. Vinny Burgundy, sit 1. Waddle, AJ Brown. Waddle, AJ Brown, or Odunze. Okay, Waddle, AJ Brown, or Odunze. You got to sit 1. Oh, I'm sitting AJ Brown. No question in my mind. No question in my mind. I don't know. The AJ Brown usage is really annoying, and they're not using creative ways to get him the football. I'm good, man. Give me Waddle, who's going to see a ton of targets, and Odunze, who's going to see a ton of targets as well. Cats took over. What a handle. I got 15 minutes here, boys. Throw the questions into the chat. I'm going to try to get to as many of these bad boys as possible. Start 2 of Tucker with Myers out. I like that. I like Worthy too. You like Waddle? Okay, Waddle and the weather. I forgot about the weather aspect, y'all. My bad. Yeah, I forgot about the NFL weather here, bro. Ooh, the weather's got me shook a little. In Cleveland especially, right? Like the Cleveland weather's supposed to be pretty bad, right? Let me see here. Boom, boom, boom. Definite rain showers all throughout the game. We've got gusts of up to 25, 24 miles per hour. 17 mile per hour winds in general. So pretty strong winds here too, y'all. I forgot about the weather. Cats took over. Good looking out. Start 2. Okay, if I'm starting 2, go ahead. Dude, honestly, man, I still can't sit Waddle, though. He's going to see 10 targets in this game. He's too good of a football player. Give me Waddle and Worthy. I'll take Waddle and Worthy. Tucker's fine. I don't mind playing Tucker. Like if you don't want to play Waddle, I could. That's fine. I could see playing Tucker too. That's okay. But give me Worthy and Waddle. I'm expecting a lot out of Worthy this week, to be honest with you. All right, this is from Wiz. Wandale, Jordan Mason, Bourne, Dubs. Start 2 in the flex. Jordan Mason, I like him a lot. And I like Kendrick Bourne. I'm trying to think about if I make an argument for Dubs over Bourne. I can, certainly. But I don't know, man. Bourne has just been too important to this offense. Mac Jones has really been leaning on him. It's Mac Jones again, right? The quarterback is going to make a difference. The quarterback wide receiver, combination really makes a difference there. So Jordan Mason, I like. Kendrick Bourne is in there too. Jordan Mason, I think, is a must start. Look, this is the funny thing about Philadelphia. It is a great pass defense. It's not a great run defense, right? Philadelphia right now, guys. And remember, they had Javonte Williams run on them in week number 1, right? So they've been giving up plays now. Like they're dead last. The Eagles are dead last in run stuff rate. Dead last. They're bottom 10 in explosive run rate allowed. They're bottom 10 in yards after contact allowed. This is a team that gives it up to running backs. They're not that good at stopping running backs. They're bottom 10 in total yards allowed to this position group as well. Right? So yeah, I think Jordan Mason is a very strong start this week, to be honest with you. So give me Jordan Mason, give me Kendrick Bourne. Dubs has my attention somewhat, but I'll still take Kendrick Bourne right there. KJ Frederick. Does anyone know if Jacobs is playing or not? Let's see. Let me look it up. Josh Jacobs. Where's he at? Yeah, what's going on here with Josh Jacobs, man? I don't know. I can't find it. I cannot find it. Josh Jacobs obviously not 100%. Dude, I don't know, man. There's no updated info on Josh Jacobs, unfortunately, man. Wiz, pick up Elijah Wilson in case. Elijah Wilson? Emmanuel Wilson? Y'all got me confused with these names, brother. Oh, okay, yeah, Emmanuel Wilson. I was like, Elijah Wilson? Who's Elijah Wilson? Okay, better RB2 start from KJ Frederick. Emmanuel Wilson, Hendo, RJ Harvey, or Charbs. These are all gross. I'm going to say RJ. I like RJ Harvey here a little bit. He's got a really good matchup against the Giants. Okay, so I'll lean just a very 51% lean on RJ Harvey. This is all pretty gross, though, overall. Wow, what a disgusting game. What an absolutely disgusting game in London here. I mean, unless you're a Devontae Adams or Matt Stafford manager. It was disgusting for everyone else, though. London has been a true bane to fantasy existence. You know what I mean? Like BTJ flopped. Travis Hunter, I guess, had a good game. Whatever. Anyways, this is from Rod. Half-point PPR, Sutton or Addison. You've got Ingram starting already. Okay, so you've got Ingram starting, so there's a little bit of hesitancy with Sutton. Play Sutton. I like Sutton over Addison. I'll just say that. Dylan Kelly. Let me give you some stats here. Okay, let me go back to the Sutton question here real quick. Let me give you some stats here on the matchup here. Okay, so the Giants. Hold on. The Giants versus outside wide receivers have been very below average. Okay, they are bottom 10 in completion rate. They're bottom 10 in yards per game. They're bottom 3 in receptions per game allowed to outside wide receivers. Overall, they just haven't been that good against wide receivers, okay? That being said, they've only given up 2 touchdowns to outside wide receivers. So their fantasy value right now, in terms of the FPA, we're talking about the Giants here, like it's been carried by the fact that they haven't given up a lot of touchdowns. They've given up a lot of receptions and yards. Right. I think that this is one like a bottom 10 unit against outside wide receivers. And I do think let's just hope that Sutton gets into the end zone. But I think he's got a really safe floor. And if he catches a touchdown, we're talking about pushing 20 points. You know, is there a 20-point guarantee in there? No. But you know what? I tell you what, I think he's got 22-point upside for Sutton. And I do think he has a 12-point floor. Between 12 and 22 is what I would say for Cortland Sutton. Dylan Kelly, full point PPR. Bourne or Fannin? I love Fannin this week. Bad weather. You got short arm quarterback. No David Njoku. Fannin's going to get fed a lot of checkdowns, dude. Anyways, but I probably like Bourne. I like the Bourne upside over Fannin. Yeah, give me the Bourne upside over Fannin, even though I think Fannin does give you a much safer floor. Dude, if Fannin doesn't see 7 targets in this game, I would be shocked, right? He's probably going to convert that into like 5 receptions for, I don't know, like 45 to 55 yards. I think his floor is like 9.5. With at tight end, that's pretty good, right? And then again, if he can get into the end zone, we're talking 15, 16 now. If he gets a little bit more, maybe it gets you 17, 18. I think a ceiling of 16 and a floor of like 10, I think for Fannin sounds about right. You guys know what it is for Kendrick Bourne. Listen, this guy's going to get fed the rock a lot by Mac Jones. And again, we'll see if he gets into the end zone. Probably won't. But again, the volume's too much. I just like the floor there for Kendrick Bourne a lot this week. Hayden R, pick 3. JMO, Warren, Diggs, Goddard, or Coker. I'm going to take Coker out of this mix. As a matter of fact, give me the first 3. JMO, Warren. Yeah, again, Downs is out, right? So, that's a huge green light for Tyler Warren. So, JMO, Warren, and yeah, I'll take Diggs. Absolutely. Give me Diggs right there. Okay. Michael Regine. Very elegant sounding name. Michael Regine. You sound like a prince. You know what I mean? Like Prince. We welcome in the Prince of, Scottenbury. I don't even know if that's a real place. Michael Regine. Okay. May have to pivot from Ibuka. But have to drop one of what? Dude, bro. We got to work on the spelling, my guy. Algiers, or I'm assuming you're talking about Tyler Algier or Kendre Miller. You have to, what? Drop one? Dude, I don't even understand the question, my guy. My bad. Steven Arnold, full point PPR. I need to. Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift, Jordan Mason. I'm playing Mason. I like Mason. I'm going to go Kenneth Walker. Man, I'm probably going Kenneth Walker until I go into the grave, bro. Like, it pains my soul. Like, it really does. Like, I don't understand. Like, Kenneth Walker. Okay, anyways, whatever. I'm not going to go into this rant again. Stupid. Michael Parler Greco. Why do I keep going into Kenneth Walker rants? My bad. Yo, Michael Parler Greco. Non-PPR, standard Dinosaur League, Swift versus New Orleans, Rico Dowdle versus the Jets. Give me... I will take... Oh, my gosh. This is a true coin flip for me, but I'll take Swift right here. Yeah, I'll take Swift. Hey, yo, my BTJ's killing me too, man. He's absolutely crushed my fantasy team. In my big money league, $1,000 buy-in, I'm in last place. You know why? Because the 2 wide receivers, it's an auction league. The 2 wide receivers I invested in, BTJ, AJ Brown. Toast. I'm toast. And then I accidentally tried to bid up Ashton Jinty. I didn't even want Ashton Jinty at that price. I'm like, I'll just bid him up, though, because there's a bunch of Raider fans in my league. I'm like, I'll just bid him up. Nope, got caught with Ashton Jinty. Yeah, not good. Not good, y'all. Jose Avalos, JMO. The moral of that story is don't bid up players. That's the moral of that story, dude. Jose Avalos, JMO or Keenan Allen? I'll take JMO right there. I'll take that upside, dude. I think it's going to be a shootout. Detroit is down, every starting corner. Like, literally every starting corner is out for them. And I think it's going to be a potential shootout there. For Detroit. So I'll take JMO because they're going to have to throw the ball to keep up. Oops, my bad. Okay, CM New York. Thoughts on Jalen Lane, I'm assuming? Lane Kiffin? Lane? Dude, I don't know, bro. Jonathan Santiago. If you're asking me about Jalen Lane in Washington, he's fast. He's splitting time. I don't know. I think he's okay. I trust Chris Moore a lot more. I trust Luke McCaffrey about the same. By the way, Jalen Lane and that's what's so again going back to Luke McCaffrey thing. You know, Luke McCaffrey and Jalen Lane were splitting snaps. Like, where's the Jalen Lane hype? You know, no. But Luke McCaffrey's probably going to slide into that slot role for Debo, and I think that's why there's a little bit more excitement. But Luke McCaffrey going to slide into that slot role that Debo was owning before. So I do think that there is something there. So yeah, go ahead and give me. That's my thoughts on Jalen Lane. PPR, Diggs or JMO currently going against Adams. Oh my God, good luck, dude. I think you're kind of done anyways. I'll take JMO if you're chasing the upside. If you're chasing the upside, we got to go JMO here. Jalen Waddle or Keenan Allen. The weather in Cleveland versus Miami has me shook a little bit. Keenan Allen's been playing well, but he is the number 2. 1 point PPR. Weather looks pretty bad in Miami. Yeah, I know, right? Like, it's not good. Okay, give me Keenan Allen. Nah. You know what? I can't do it. I can't. Shoot. It's not like Tua's good. Tua stinks. Tua in bad weather, too? Nah, you know what? Forget it. Give me Keenan Allen. I'm trying to hitch my wagon to Tua in bad weather, bro. Nah, we're good, dude. Francisco Marquez, give me Keenan Allen, dude. Okay, Pacheco or Vidal. Full point PPR. I am going to go Vidal right here. And it pains me because I think Pacheco's playing really, really well. But give me Vidal. Actually, do I want Vidal? Ricardo, I'm really torn on this one. This one's really got me my brain a pretzel because my initial reaction was Vidal, but the more I think about it, 10.5 point favorite against Las Vegas. Give me Pacheco. He's got a great run script in front of him, man. I'll take Pacheco. He's got a much better floor, probably just as high ceiling as Vidal, to be honest with you. I will take Pacheco here. Furman Sanchez, Walker or Trey Tucker. I'm going Walker till I die, y'all. Flex, okay, right. Daniels or May. I'm going to go May in a revenge game for New England against Tennessee. I'll take May. Daniels is down his top 2 wide receivers. I think Cliff Kingsbury is a terrible OC. I don't think he's going to fix it. I don't think he's going to figure it out. It's a great matchup against Dallas. There's no question. It's an awesome matchup. But I'll take May right here. May's been playing really, really good football. And by the way, Daniel's still dealing with that injury. I don't know how mobile he's going to be. If you told me it was going to be Daniels with wheels, obviously we're going Daniels. No question. But pocket passer with top 2 wide receivers out, I'm not feeling that one as well. Laura and Jim Cooperman, if Jacobs is out, Woody or Emmanuel, I'm going Woody. Pollard or Pierce? Which Pierce are we talking about, dude? I actually don't know which Pierce we're talking about, guys. Sorry. Listen, the reason I say that is it could be Alec Pierce, it could be Damian Pierce. Like, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. Kamara or Monty in the flex. Worried about Caleb with the weather. Fields on the bench. Well, I like Kamara. I do think Monty's going to get going, though. So go ahead and give me Monty. Give me Monty right there. Ah, man. Sleeper King. Let's go, TR Diaz. I appreciate you, brother. Jordan R. Hart, Apocalypse, or I'm going Apocalypse. I think Apocalypse is like canonically stronger than Thanos. No, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. Lindell Rosado. Besides Bijan, I need to start 5. Oh, my guy, I'm not starting 5 for you. That's too many. Give me an either or. I'm not here to set entire lineups, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that takes too long. Okay. Big Ham, Stevenson, T-Mac. Oh, T-Mac, Tet McMillan all day long. Leave Luke McCaffrey in the flex or wait for Ibuka. Let's just start McCaffrey. It'd be crappy to try to start Ibuka and he doesn't even play for you, man. Alan Medina. Starter sit Kendrick Bourne. Is this my guy, Alan Medina? What's going on, Alan? What's up, dude? Kendrick Bourne or Keenan Allen, Bryce Young or Spencer Rattler. Kendrick Bourne. And, dude, I really like Rattler as a sleeper this week, man. Um, I do. I think Rattler gets it done. I'm leaning Rattler here. Maybe I'm stupid. I don't know. All right, that's it, y'all. Games have started. I appreciate everyone out there. I know, dude. Michael Parler Greco, I get it, dude. BTJ and AJ Brown in $1,000 buy-in league. And you know the problem is too. It's like I'm supposedly an expert, you know. So it's like everyone's like, oh, the expert. Okay, last place. You know what? That's not cool, man. How the hell am I supposed to know BTJ is gonna suck it up? Like, what the hell, bro? Man, it sucks. I don't know. Anyways, that's where we're at. $1,000 buy-in league. I'm in last place, man. I suck. I stink, dude. All of a sudden, you've got too many running backs. Who do I start? J.K. Dobbins or Jordan Mason? Dobbins for me. Both these guys are really, really strong plays, though. First of all, what a great name. Harlington Rodriguez. Wow. Alan Medina, good to see you, pal. Hopefully we'll jump into the stream next week, too. Anyways, there you go. I got to go, y'all. I got to catch these games, man. Anyways, love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Same bat channel next week. Same bat time. Jim in the early portion, me in the back end. But I appreciate you guys, man. What last one here? Thanos may be stronger, more durable, more cosmic knowledge, apocalypse, telepathy, manipulation, though. Yeah. Depends on circumstance, probably. You're probably right, man. You're probably right. You know what? That's what we need to see. We need to see a Thanos versus Apocalypse move. Like, give me that movie. I'll pay for that movie. You know? Everyone calls you Harley. Great name. I think Harlington's an even better name, though, man. Better than Harley. Titan style. Trade away Dobbs for Hunter a few days ago. How we feeling? Well, Hunter got you that touchdown, so I think you're feeling good, right? I know, like, right? Like, if you gave me an Apocalypse versus Thanos movie, like, I'm in on that. I am in on that. That's how you got Tinnet, something. Yeah. Okay. Tennis. That's where your ear gets that ringing sound, right? Should I start Evans, QJ, Dobbins at flex full point PPR? Man, Evans, QJ, or Dobbins? Oh, give me Dobbins. Sick Dobbins in there, man. Really great matchup against the Giants this week. Anyways, I keep saying I got to go, but I really do have to go, guys. I'll see you guys next week, man. I appreciate everyone jumping in the stream. All right, peace, y'all. See you.